Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Karsh the Goblin. This is the Goblin Cave, and you've come in for the Rusty Daggers live role-playing show, where our amazing cast members put themselves on the line, or put their characters on the line, their emotions on the line for your entertainment. Today, though, we're not going to see one of our characters die. We're going to have just a recap episode because we're 36 episodes in. This is the 37th episode. We've been going for over a year. We've never actually had a recap. And I think it's about time. We're also a couple of cast members down today, unfortunately. So we're in a big combat. Everything's a bit hairy. Everything's a bit on edge. And that's where he stopped last time, which was not last week, but the week before. But then without two cast members down, yeah, it's a bit hard to keep it going and to take on their characters, especially when there's such high stakes right now. So we thought we'll take just do a talkie at the moment and just have a nice relaxing one. So today we have Peach, we've got Kamali, and we've got Nir. Unfortunately, Kadan is caring for family members, and very last moment there was a technical explosion. Technical issue with Sky's computer, and he can't get here today. So it is what it is. Even though we've got like I've got a huge massive like list of what to do for Will, for Kadan, because Kadan's currently on the edge of dying. So I already have that just in case we did the combat, but without Sky here, we thought, yeah, we just may as well just do a talkie. So yeah, that is what it is. So we'll do our introductions. So we'll probably be having the Syrinscape sound in the background, just this nice, polite, beautiful melodies in the background, just as we talk, just because it's a chill episode. Syrinscape is what we use for our audio. It's amazing for online, offline needs. It's just great for all your role-playing stuff. So I highly recommend it. Go check them out. Just making sure it's low enough so it's not going to be too annoying for us. So Peach, would you like to do our, again, non-webcam introductions? I don't even think she's here. She's hiding.
I think she is hiding.
She's hiding. She was just here with the dog. She may have muted herself though. But without seeing, we can't see.
I'm here.
Okay.
It was a mute, wasn't it?
I was muted. I had to take care of the baby.
Oh.
So fair.
Would you like to do your introduction of who your character is? We'll just do who your character is, and then we'll go through, and then we'll do the character regressions as well, of how they've gone. So just who the character is, who you are, etc. As per normal.
Okay. Hi, I'm Peach. I play So, the Tiefling Rogue. How'd she got a part of the Silver Daggers, you said?
Just like anything you
Or,
like.
I missed that last bit. My internet cut out.
Yeah. Anything extra you'd like to, because we're just doing a talking episode. We're not going to go into role playing as much today.
Okay. I play So, aka So Syndrome, as I like to call her when I'm alone, meaning the syndrome of coming up with 100 different personalities and never sticking to any of them.
Yeah, that's about right. It's been a while since So's actually done introductions of new personalities and new names for people, but I'm sure they'll still keep up.
I mean, every time she introduces herself as So, it's a new one. It's a different one, at least.
That's right. So is not the character's real name. Nobody knows the So's real name except for the GM and Teach. Nir, would you like to do your introduction?
Okay. Hi there. I'm Nir. If you really want to, you can find me on Twitter at Nearlandlight, or there's other places like Instagram, Wattpad. Really, I don't anything you can really think of. I play Mava, our half-elf druid. I don't have much to offer in this recap, but I'm here anyway and support.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately,
I'll help So do this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the recap, you've been here for one session.
I can recap that session for you.
One session. Yeah, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Kamali, would you like to share?
Yeah, I'm Kamali from Evolve Elves the Beard. I can give you the hint. The beard may or may not be of magical means.
Ooh.
That's the only hint I'm going to give now.
I think it's magical. It seems like it's magical. It's really pretty.
I'm pretty. He's sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like his bloodline comes from the beard.
Yeah, all the magic comes from the beard.
It's the beard blood. It's the Samson bloodline. All the
There you go,
power
yeah.
comes from the hair. All the barber comes from the hair. That's right. The Rusty Daggers, like, just as a recap of what the campaign's about and where we started and where, like, how, like, where we've gone and whatnot. So the Rusty Daggers, it started as like people from this area, like all the characters, the people from this area, they essentially are working as a franchise from another group called the Silver Daggers. And so they're working under that guise, they're giving them commission, but they're also being set up as well in the area, and they're running off someone else's name. Someone else's good name, I should point out, compared to some of the stuff that you've been up to under your own name. So essentially they're in the area trying to expand and trying to get the name for themselves, which they have recently done, for good and bad. And so that's kind of where we've been, but that's taken a lot of episodes to get there. So the very first episode, Kamali, Peach, would you like to explain what happened right at the very start of the campaign? The bridge?
Oh, how we started, we were traveling in a wagon. I remember because I drew that part a little bit.
Uh-huh.
As we were crossing our way into Red Larch, we were attacked.
Yeah.
Ward at the helm was very confused on where the sudden attack came from, though we were warned. Our ambush was planned by our driver. Everyone is in panic mode. Suddenly, they step out. Our driver is shot, betrayed by the very people he helped. To be fair, he was shot with a cupcake, so the threat wasn't really there.
Yeah.
We ambushed by children, a group of pretenders that like to play in Red Larch. Of course, this wasn't really evident to everyone in the party,
No.
and thanks to some low rolls, we prevented paticide.
Well, yeah. I mean, Robert was at that stage not a sorcerer, it was just playing barbarian. If it had gone in a rage, children's spears.
Yeah. And Ward, who was sitting outside, who actually had a clear vision of these were children, didn't actually understand what children were at that stage as well.
Yeah.
Halflings, as he called them.
Yeah, he called them. He thought they were attacking halflings, and he was going to slaughter them. Thankfully, he actually fell between the horses and got stuck before everything got settled down. So everything started really by the attack of the children, and then settled in. Started exploring the town, started exploring the area.
I just would like to add, Robert liked children, but then that happened. And he disliked children from that. But no,
That was the breaking moment for him.
It was a breaking moment.
I feel like
what
that.
kind of parent allows their children to run around and make themselves targets? Seriously, that's just wrong.
And yet
I feel
later on, oh, sorry, Peach.
Sorry, I feel like at that moment is where like the group sort of, what's it called? Our group dynamic was sort of like instilled from that one almost killing moment. So immediately, this is the game of pretend, and I am down for pretend.
It also changed, I will point out, it also changed Kadan from being the happy-go-lucky party guy character to, oh crap, this party is screwed if we don't have someone sensible. And it was just an instant flip in 3 combat sessions. I think it was even 2 combat sessions where there was kittens being thrown into the windows of the cart and wagon to, oh god, these guys are going to kill people if they don't have someone sensible to stop them. Because that was session 0. That's what Kadan was supposed to be, the party animal. That was a total 180 because the party was not going to handle it. So I will thank you, Will, for that, because otherwise this party would have been even worse than what it has gotten away with. They would have been a lot worse. So I will point out that what parent lets children go around with like pretending to be bandits? Wasn't there alcohol at some point given to children?
Yes, that was his revenge. That's just karmic revenge. That they want to play being adult. Here, this is what it means to be an adult. Now go get sick and go to your mom.
Well, straight up gave 100 proof alcohol to a baby.
Oh.
It wasn't a baby. It was like what, 6, 7? I don't know. Old enough to drink by himself.
I think it was the one of the large. I think it was one of the 10, 13, 12. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he puked his gut. Yeah, that was a shining moment.
That'll teach him not to overdrink and alcohol.
You've told him.
I think that's excellent parenting.
Robold ordered him to drink.
No, I didn't. I didn't order him. I told him, well, if you want to be a barbarian, all good barbarians drink. It also taught me a valuable life lesson about not believing everything everyone says.
I mean, that's excellent advice, honestly.
It really is, especially with So around.
So's not the best influence.
No. I do want to ask, we do have, we've got a party screen when we load up in. So just on that party screen, and we'll switch to it now. We've got it's a notepad where people can write things in. We do have the big midlife crisis and going shopping. So that was written in too. But one thing I put in a while back was So's aliases. And up the very top is So, because that's an alias. But what was the best alias that you thought? Kamali? No, I'm asking Kamali, not you, Peach.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I like Pepsi Left Beard.
You liked Pepsi Left Beard?
Yeah.
And I know you weren't here for it, but Nia, what out of the list that we have here, what one do you think is like the best out of the list there?
I mean, I have to agree with Kamali because I saw them and was like, who is Pepsi Left Beard? That's so cool.
And Peach, who is Pepsi Left Beard?
Who is Pepsi Left Beard? I am so glad you asked. See, Pepsi, I was thinking about Pepsi for a while before Pepsi was even made, because I thought, So's gotta go through a lot of personalities, because that's who she is. I had that concept for her in the beginning. But the thing is, I had Pepsi planned in my mind. In the original little mind draft, her name wasn't Pepsi. It was Shirley Leftbeard. But I panicked, and I was like, Pepsi. Because I panicked. So, but Pepsi actually is the second of So's identities that has a backstory.
A full backstory.
Like a full backstory, very rich, very, very it's very if you get into it, it's a whole world, it's a whole system. So basically just invented D&D Part 2.
Well, there you go.
I have been asked to put Pepsi Left Beard into the Children of the Marsh because it is a pirate campaign, or it is a setting with pirates in. So I have been asked to put Pepsi Left Beard into that campaign.
I mean, she's a dwarven woman with only the left of her beard. So that is basically all you need to know about Pepsi. Her father tried to kill her and when he did, he cut off the few chin hairs she was growing then on the left side. So that's where she started, that's where it all started for her.
And I know you're making this up because you don't have your book in front of you, because I've heard different stories from this.
I mean, that's just the tale of Pepsi Left Beard, didn't you?
Pepsi Left Beard is a story that is a legend, is a fierce legend that can't be tamed within one story.
I feel like I would like to meet her because I feel like all she would do is monologue.
Yeah.
All of her backstory as well. Monologue her backstory and how she became Pepsi Left Beard. And I'm like, I just came out here to drink, but okay.
Yeah.
A little fun fact about every single identity So takes is that they fill a certain purpose and a certain need for a situation. Pepsi was, I believe, I gotta go to the list because it's been a while, but I remember because I was each one has a different meaning. Leia Silversteed is when she needs to be a bit more snooty, a bit snotty.
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi is when she needs to be a bit more, gung-ho and battle ready. But the So identity is slowly becoming all-encompassing of every single one of the other ones, which is not a good thing or a bad thing, but is a thing that is happening.
It's just a thing.
It's just a thing.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, okay. So I really wanted to go through that. I've always wanted to do that. I want to point out as well that we've had a couple of cast members leave as well. So if we're talking about cast members you're not probably familiar with, Ward was played by Ninjavo. Ninjavo was with us for a while. Ward was his first ever role-playing character that he ever had, which to me was amazing. Ward was he voice acted, he played this character who was so amazing. He was an 8-foot tall Goliath who was raised by a hag who would speak to, who the hag had a mental communication with, even over long distance. But even still, Ward was not always quite there because he'd have a mental communication with his pet animal, Fido. Now, Fido wasn't a dog in a sense of on the ground, but a wolfskin rug which he wore over his head and as a cape. I totally agree with you, Porphy. He was amazing at playing Ward. So yeah, highly recommend checking out those early sessions, especially those first few sessions when he was this is the first time he's ever been doing role playing, and he just really had fun with it. And I loved how Peach, you were able to team up with Ward to do the whole crazy side, which was actually why we had Ward and Peach on the overlay on that side. So if you ever wonder why everyone is where they are on this overlay, that was because of the Peach and Ward were on this side of the overlay as the two crazies.
I like that it's Peach and not So.
Oh, sorry. Well, sorry. So and Ward Peach and Ninjavo were playing the two crazies on one side. Kip with Sky was below. He'd go both directions of crazy and not. He hadn't really found his character arc hadn't formed fully, and we had, of course, the opposite of Peach was Will playing the most sensible, so they had the opposite corners, and Robold with you, Kathy, Camille, was again a little bit of a swing, but more of an opposite to Ward with Ninjavo. And that's why I did everyone in those placements. Because that's kind of how it worked initially. When we moved to this overlay, because I'm sorry, distracted. But yeah, Ward was a fantastic. He was with us for a while. For a frontline fighter, I will say he had the lowest hit points.
He got a lot of stuff that changed that.
He had a lot of temporary stuff, a lot of temporary health, but he was really, really, really low. Really low on the hit points. I'm just trying to bring up his character. I think I put it into the backup characters. Oh no, I've got it into the graveyard. He's not dead. He will come back, but Ward at level 3 had a total of 16 hit points. 16 hit points at level 3, and I believe that was only because he maxed out his last roll at level 3. That he got the big hit points. But he had lots of temporary hit points, which is how he was able to then fight. But I Ninjavo was amazing. Hopefully he's doing well. Unfortunately, he had to leave us. He had to take care of his family. Had to move to do such, and we've had one communication since, which is essentially we have no internet connection. We're in the middle of nowhere. We'll send word essentially. And the other character who left also recently was Thurvane. So Leah came in only as a temporary measure because Ninjaro was only going to be, in theory, away for about 3 months. And, well, he's still away, so I haven't heard from him since. But Leah came in. But Leah came in with okay, what if it goes for longer than 3 months? She always had that, I'm also possibly moving to America, so does this work with my timeline for that? And she always had that plan of this is most likely going to go further or could go further. So do anyone want to talk about, I know Peach has a bit of a talking about Thurvane and ideas. Would Kamali or Peach, would you like to talk about what Thurvane or who Thurvane was?
I don't think I should.
You don't think
what Thurvane was?
Yeah, Thurvane's character.
Thurvane's character, I always take small little character notes when I draw characters because I love little ticks and stuff. But I think the best way to describe Thurvane is the truest neutral a true neutral will ever be. And my favorite thing I've ever come up with, a nihilistic fortune cookie, which is really good. He spoke in a disconnected way from everything. He was always in the outside perspective, even when he was inside with the party. I really appreciated his character and the counterbalancing act he did, although now our party's a bit weird because we have more sensible than nonsensical. Just a bit more. Of course, now that they know each other more, they are letting So have more leeway with that, with her little stunts, which not always a good thing. And I think they're balancing out So too, because she has enough party mass to make anyone but I got off topic. Thurvane was a really excellent addition. A druid who'd used his wild shape just for primary battle. I think the bear and the wolf was very nice, and Thurvane's own way of showing affection, which I thought was really cute. He wouldn't do it as regular Thurvane, but he'd do it as bear or wolf Thurvane.
Yeah,
That's cute.
Leia was excellent at RP, and I roleplay. She was very wonderful, and the addition that she had, like the way she added, and the insight she added from Thurvane's truest neutralist. That's how I'm going to say that from now on. Was really I don't know. I think the best scene from that is the room scene where we had Thurvane going as a spider, and then the Lich talked to him. I think Thurvane would be the only character to handle that in its entirety.
Yeah, that could have gone so badly in so many ways, depending on who came in there first. And it was very fortunate that Thurvane was the person that came in and did the talking, because if you attacked, it would have went very badly. If you lied, it would have been even worse. And that Lich was, I mean, it's got in the notes. He doesn't like killing anyone, but if you attack him, he'll just say, "Hey, that's not a good idea. If you really want to attack me, I'm going to pause time, and then you're going to die," and that's about it. So having Thurvane come into that was really, Leah did that so amazingly, and handled it. Still not really knowing what was going on, but just handled and calmed that situation. Because I think So would just want to lie.
So would have lied. Robold, would Robold attack, Kathy?
Not necessarily. Unless he touched the beard, that would be automatic attack.
Lich reaches out hand, touches beard, it's like, okay, now you done it.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
It's a thing.
So we'll put the hypothetical for Nier. An old crumbling building. An old building, which have monks in it. There's a side area which is crumbling, and you sneak through with Maeva, and inside there's an old man at a desk. And the old man, when he turns around, is obviously far older than should be living. That was the situation.
Oh, that'd be an interesting situation. Well, you've definitely lived past your time, so I like this already. But at the same time, this is out of balance. So what do I do? I mean, as long as you're not harming me, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Do you?
And that was the Lich's whole deal with the monastery. I was here first, but if you're not gonna annoy me, I'm not gonna kill all your people. And that was the deal that he kind of had. That don't come after me, and I'm not gonna kill everyone. But if you come after me, anyone that you send after me will just die. I don't care. You're just nowhere near my skill, nowhere near my threat. And I liked the fact that in that situation it says that he'll give a reward, like the necklace of Constitution. I can't remember the exact name of it. But he'll only do it to a lawful good character. I'm like, oh shit! And I was going through every character and oh god, there's no one here lawful good. The only person that's good was Kadan. No one else had it. And it's yep. So normally people could use the power up, no problem. But in this one, also the necklace, but in this one it was specifically only lawful, only good. I'm yep, there's no one in this party that can have it. Even Thurvane, because true neutral, couldn't have it. And I think I think
That's
chaos,
a cool way of doing it.
I think chaos is more chaotic neutral or chaotic good. Is Robold
He's chaotic neutral.
chaotic neutral? Yeah. So even Robold's not good. The entire party. So there's not huge announcement that we're going to actually be having. We'll do a take about 3 or 4 months off because unfortunately the next semester we have next semester his classes don't line up with the show and he can't get out of it. He has to attend a specific class which is during the show, so he won't be able to take on the show. So we're going to have a replacement for that, but that means our only lawful character, only good character in the party, the one shining light of like sensibility, is not going to be here. So
I'm just saying, if we kill him off next episode, it gives Will an out.
Yeah, but he's still here for another couple of months.
Yeah, right? In a new character. It gives him. I'm not saying kill Kadan, because So loves Kadan with all her heart. She loves all guys. But, like, Peach, who writes stories, is saying, sometimes a death.
Sometimes the death is necessary, you know?
Sometimes it's easy to write somebody out. It's just like, you died. I mean, at least it'd be on screen. Like, I know a lot of character deaths that happened off screen.
How do you
Bucky Barnes was off screen when he died.
Who?
Not in the original comics. In the original comics, they just killed him off. One panel, he died. Ow!
That's what they do a lot. Like, it's really bad if you kill a character off screen or just like, oh, hey, they have to leave, so we'll just kill a character. I'm like,
Yeah.
or you could not, unless it really calls for it.
Well, Ward has walked off. Thurvane's walked off. Both Leah and Ninjava are free to come back when their schedules and when their lives realign with everything here. Both characters are not dead. So killing off Kadan, especially if he wasn't here today, would have been bad.
Yeah, no, we're not killing Kadan because, like I said, So loves Kadan way too much.
He's such an easy mark for drawing on when he's sleeping.
Exactly.
That hasn't happened in a while.
Also, then there's no one to, like, you know, do lesser restoration on you so that you don't have hangovers.
Oh, that was perfect timing. and I was always going to, like, I knew exactly what was happening, and then it's like, crap, you've just spent those big spells, and I know I'm about to send you into Unbound. I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
I mean, technically, I think Maeva can do lesser restoration. Will she? No, you need to suffer. Look, this is how life is. Balance it out.
Yeah, you have to pay for your imbibing of alcohol endlessly. I also, just going back on old characters as well, I love the fact that it took such a long time for everyone to realise that Ward was carrying all your spare party gear.
I hated it. He was our little. He had to cry. I'm so mad about that.
He had a big trunk on the back of his on his back, which he was carrying around all the party gear because he's a Goliath, and Goliath can carry everything. And it's like, oh yeah, he's got all our stuff. And Thurvane, we've realised also in the break, had the amulet of resistance of fire. And it's like, well, Thurvane's left. Wouldn't Thurvane have given it to someone else? Well, probably not. But we'll have it arrive by Animal Messenger, so it's at least kept in the party, because this is a very, very low magic campaign compared to like the Children of the Marsh, which is a very high magic item campaign. If you haven't noticed, the party has pretty much the same amount at level 1 as what this group has at level 5. Even though you're
And me and Mike.
Yeah.
Me collecting spell books forever.
Yeah. Even though in the Children of the Marsh you've destroyed 3 magic items already.
That wasn't my fault. One of our players decided to smash 2 magic items, and another one decided to cut a bag of holding open. So.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It was a valid tactic on both. One was trying to break into a locked drawer, which they just smashed the table itself. The other one was a skeleton alchemist throwing throwing acid flasks, and he was drawing them from the bags, like disarming by piercing the bag and cutting them out of the bag. Yeah, didn't know what it was. Just
Sad day. Sad day for me because I love having a bag of holding, and that makes me upset because I'm like, I wanted that. I can't carry things. I'm a tiny wizard girl.
So it's a very big contrast where, as I said, this campaign is so magic item low compared to that one, which is because the other one's based on D&D first edition, which is very magic high, like magic item high. So it's just this massive contrast where at first level are pretty much the same amount of items in the party. And it's only going to go up higher.
A lot of the 5e campaigns are really specific about like magic item low, essentially, up until like you get to like higher levels where they start to really give you magic items.
Yeah. Well, already in this campaign, you're up against some monsters where you actually they get damage resistance against anything but magic items. I'm like, we don't have magic items, and I know where they are in the campaign, but I'm like, crap, like you don't get them till later. I'm like, that's really hard because you hit this brick wall where like you're dealing with the cults, and this is just, I think, the 3rd cult that you've had interactions with. Well, you think that they're cults, and yeah, you pretty much think right. With the fire, and certain things have resistances, and I'm really bad at picking those up when in combat. It's like, oh yeah, that the fire elemental has resistances. The fire elemental is also doing damage to anyone that's in its area, which I also missed. So the combat would have been even worse. You would have been copying, I think it was either a D10 or 2D8 around, just being in its area.
That's why I had So go off to pick off the little guys, because I was like, she doesn't know enough magic, so she's just gonna fuck off for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we ended up in the hot seat.
Then you what?
We ended up in the hot seat.
Well, Kadan ended up in the hot seat. Yeah.
The tricky part with Kadan, if he does die, is revivifying like what he would want, because his character is a grave cleric, and they believe things that are dead should stay dead.
Yep, that's the hard part. That's also why we've got, and I've got it open here, so many backup characters.
Look, if Kadan dies, I'll just grow a tree over him. That way, like, he lives on through a tree.
So
new life rises.
I mean, I know, like, so Robold has 2 backup characters. Was it Geese Egg? I can't even pronounce that. And Val. Was it so equals many backup characters in brackets personalities.
There's the backup characters. They're probably not going to be used.
Yeah.
Because So is getting better at not dying. There's Sibs and Kilbor Knife, who Kilbor is being used for a different campaign now because I love him that much.
Ooh. But I'll say that Kadan, Will, has 5 backup characters.
Or
I'm like, that's really scary.
I haven't even made up a single backup character.
Well, there's one there for you. I've assigned one for you just in case, because it is it's a campaign which is big. It's also a campaign where you're rolling hit dice, which, I mean, I think the Children of the Marsh, like they're already into one character's already into the 20s at level 2 with hit points. And there's still, I think, characters here with 20 hit points. I think higher, but yeah, your So's got 28, Merve's got 33. Yeah, So's still the lowest, but yeah, it's rolling hit dice. It's that randomness so you can lose a character just from damage alone, which means you have to think a bit more tactically usually, which is why I like doing that system. So yeah, we've got quite a few backup characters, and even Sky has got 4 backup characters. And I'm just afraid of actually even clicking on them because, like, I don't even look at anyone's backup characters. I don't want to know until they're needed. Like, until they're introduced, until I have to go, okay, we need character art, what backup character, let's get the ball rolling, let's get that circumstance going. Because that's a whole process in itself. But I don't want to have, like, all these other things going around. So I don't even know, like, the full backgrounds of every character. I know enough bullet points to know what's being dropped is either truthful or not. And sometimes, depending on the character, Peach, is totally false, or the background hints that you drop. Although there have been valid stuff that's been dropped with So as well. It's just because you lie so much, no one knows what's real or not, which is really
to be
funny.
fair, there's more about So known than there is about Robold or Kadan. I want to make that clear, because what was like picked up and then never addressed again is Robold knows a bunch of scary languages. Why does Robold know these scary languages?
I will say this. I only just found out myself recently as the GM. And the character's been here for over a year. So
It took me a year to figure out. Okay, that's hard.
Why does he? You say that this is the most basic character you ever made, but I want to know, why does he know scary languages? What is he gonna do with the Bissell? Who is he contacting with that?
All the
You
most
just
important people, of
ask.
course. The most
spoilers.
important of people.
Yeah.
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 Kadan and Robold are definitely characters I want to know more about. But a character we knew a lot about from the start, which I loved, was Ward. Because we knew so much, a lot of the early like NPCs were like, we feel bad for you, dog. Let's just like, I'm gonna teach you how to drive. That'll make you feel better, right? Let's learn how to drive.
Yeah, well, Ward was your drover. He was the person driving the wagon.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, he had what did he have? He had something. He had essentially had puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
Where people feel sorry for him. They see him as a child new to the world, and so he was just like this giant 8 foot tall behemoth, Goliath. But has been they could see his soul, like you could see like that he'd been tortured and tormented his entire life, and so they took him in, and like you took him in, and so it was just this really like he was quite out there right from the start of what his background is. But the character development for Ninja Harvey was Ward's learning society and learning good or right and wrong, and I think just like with some characters, he could go one way or the other depending on how the party taught him. Peach,
Hey, it's not me. I am playing my character. That's just how she is.
I like it already because now it's like Maeva is kind of in the same situation. She doesn't know society. So the first thing some teachers are dominate people by being the most like intimidating in the room. And I'm like, okay, let's go with this.
So has if you don't already like have a set thing, so has a personality where it just sort of drives a lot of things forward.
Yeah, but
I like it.
I also I really think like one of the biggest changes in the campaign so far was the embrace your inner monster talk with Kip, because that really changed. That didn't just change So, but it also changed Peach with your introductions. From that point on, you stopped saying, "Hi, I'm Peach. I play So the human rogue," to "Hi, I'm Peach. I play So the tiefling rogue."
I was waiting to do that. There was going to be a moment where So was going to stop being introduced as the human, the lie that she told herself and others. Mainly to herself, because she lies to herself too. She's not, she's not exempted from the lies. There was always going to be that switch, but that inner monster thing really got her. But my favorite intro, I know this isn't about intros, but my favorite intro has always been Kamali's. It's very in character, and I love it. I just really love Kamali's intro. Like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Please do it. May you bask in
on the spot. I'm panicking out.
The basking in the beard's glory and the yes.
Oh yeah. Come and bask in my glory.
Yeah.
I was always very in character, and I've always loved that. I always loved it.
That's because this is Kamali's show and not anyone else's.
Precisely.
I'm just the host. For me, I learned pretty early on that I'm just trying to run everything else and let you guys do everything. Like you guys do everything. And for me, I've been doing GMing for 20 years. I've been doing D&D and other things for 20 years, whatnot. But this is the first time where I'm like, I just sit back and I watch. I quite often I'll be facing this way, and sometimes it's like, why are you facing this way? And it works with this because I'm facing the monitor where everyone is shown to me, and I'm just watching the reactions, the interplays, the feelings, the backstory drops, the everything, and that's usually when I should be setting up the next encounter and getting the maps ready, getting it. It's like, because I'm just watching, entertain myself. So it's got nothing to do with me. I'm not the personality here. You guys are. That's why I'm like, yeah. That's why I've got no problems promoting Peach with your drawing. I've got no problems promoting. Is it Last Unicorn? No, it's.
Tears of the Unicorn?
Tears of the Unicorn. Yes.
Well, there's so much personality here, so.
Yeah.
They're less a group of adventurers and more a collection of personality defaults and just natural defaults in a person. These are if they were in individual parties, they would be fine and balanced out if they were in a party. But now that these assholes are clumped together in their own party, they're forced to either be decent to each other or get left behind. Because I think my favorite thing about this party is, even though they can't hold a conversation without arguing once, they will go all in for each other.
Yeah. This is my buddy. I want to kill him, not you.
Yeah.
It's a murder these guys. It's, I don't know. They have a weird love for each other, which I really like to see.
Oh, come on. Robert is genuinely fond of everyone except you, Maeva. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Well, you've got a few brownie points, so well done.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Never got past. Robert just dislikes surveying every episode worse.
And I think they come in saying the lightning
Yeah.
The lightning was what got you. And I watched it live. And
Yeah.
I know exactly what was said. I know
It's like,
exactly why you've just went not impressed. Being a storm sorcerer who,
Yeah. I mean, I'm the only powerful one. I'm the leader, and you come here with your little pyrotechnic show.
I love it.
On the similar note, there was a lot of episodes and a lot of drops on the same thing of when people started getting up levels and started picking up magic. And Sky with Kip going, "You've got magic? I've been trying to read this book for so long." And like, every single time.
Kip is. I love everyone's character so much. That's why I did the season 2 designs for them. I wanted to show you guys how much I loved and paid attention to every little itty bitty thing about them. Because I adore them. I adore them so much.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably why I was like, I think it's the first episode I watched after hearing that I was going to be in the game. I went and watched the next episode, and I was like, seeing all the character design outfits you did for them, and I was like, that's so cute. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, the shopping expedition. Peach, you were after that about December last year.
Yeah.
Like,
The tweet exists.
Peach and me wanted to do this so
See?
much. I know I missed it. Oh.
and not just that, you also wanted to cross over with Waterdeep Dragon Heist, like the Blades of Waterdeep cast. And like, I can't have 10 cast members on screen.
Oh, that'd be hard.
And it's great. You just have to sit there.
I mean, it's actually possible. I mean, I will say it's actually possible. What you do is you have like 2 overlays, and you pretty much swap between the overlays. That's the only way of doing it. But one cast has to be totally silent while the other cast speaks. As you swap between, that's probably the only way of doing it. Because I don't.
I feel like a good way to do it maybe is like if you had several who weren't going to be in one cast episode one week, and you had the other cast come in for that episode. So it was like, oh, you have like maybe 3 from this one and 3 from the other one. You just put them together.
We definitely need to do a crossover at least once, because I know already that So would love the Children of the Marsh.
I was like, I really want that. I would love that.
So loves kids. This is
Because-
established since day one. So has loved kids.
Assyria would love to meet her because one, that's a lot of personality that she'd love to meet. I was like, yes.
The important one.
We had, I think yesterday we had about 3 hours, about 1 hour of combat of the 4-hour session, and then about 3 hours of moral debate on do we steal all this shit? Do we, like, I'm surprised just floating the bodies out to sea wasn't an option, was never actually brought up. But like, do we steal all the shit? Do we steal some of the stuff and steal everything and go back to the town and say, look, these were smugglers, but they don't have any stuff there? Do we steal some of the stuff and say, look, they were smugglers and this is what they've got? Or do we leave all the stuff and hopefully get stuff back? Or like, and there was just like so much. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I loved that. But having Peach, like having So in that group of like that corrupting influence, and So is a corrupting influence.
Asteria's like on the edge of like corruption, so I'd be like, oh, this is great. Just bring So in.
Yeah,
So I would say is less corruption and more chaos. She has this unbridled joy that she brings with her, where she just sort of wants everyone to experience it, but at the same time, her point of fun can be skewed a bit because of backstory nonsense. But she does everything she does out of the pure joy of fun.
Ward stealing, Ward drawing on people's faces when they're sleeping.
That's not evil. That is rogue and fun.
That's the
The unbridled joy of
influence
not
I'm
getting
talking
caught for
about.
stealing.
That's the influence I'm talking about. The corruption. Yeah.
I will say, like, part playing the Children of the Marsh, at least with me, is that like we are playing 14 to 17-year-old characters. They're children. They've never done anything. So this is the first time they've actually killed people. And it was like this big moment between the two girls of the group, my character and another player's. And they're like, oh, my character's breaking down in tears because now she's kind of hit her that she's killed people. And she's like, I've never killed people. What do I do about this? Oh God, this is bad. But at the same time, it was necessary to protect my friends. So there's the moral dilemma of, well, is it okay? Or should we stop? Should we feel bad? I don't know.
Yep.
The killing dilemma has been brought up here too, hasn't it?
Not as much. More the children.
Not in that context, but whenever So calls what they do to a bad person, like if they're going to kill a bad person, whenever she calls it murder, then it becomes a debate. He's like, we murdered orcs, and they're like, we didn't murder them. That was so just like, murder is murder no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it was fun. I'm a barbarian. What do you want?
That was actually the problem we had. Was we were like, is it self-defense? Is it murder? What is it considered? We were like, well, it seems like self-defense.
and yet they captured one of them. They kept on beating her around the head while captured and essentially bound. And the person she kept on saying, "We were defending our business. You invaded us." So she was claiming self-defense. And
she was claiming self-defense as a smuggler. Thank you very much.
It's work.
She's like, it's an illegal operation, but we were defending ourselves from children that we attacked. What? I was like, my character is also very like the one who stays in the back. She doesn't like to get in personal contact with people. This lady started using logical law against her. She's like, I'm the smart one here. Don't you try and turn this around on me. Got up in her face and poked her and was like, no, I'm smart. You're stupid. Shut up.
And then probably got beaten on the back of the head again.
And then she got hit in the back of the head again. Because I ordered our friend with the stick being like, hit her. And he hit her. So I was like, this is children at the best.
Yeah. As I said, about 3 hours of moralness after the combat. But there's moralness here that I've liked as well. What I've liked is the first time you come against, well, what do you now think of, now as cults, is the air cults, the Featherdale Knights. And the first times you came up against them was, oh my God, these are so cool. I want a griffin, or I want a flying mount, and all this type of stuff. And Peach and So was trying to marry the leader.
Seduce, not marry. She was trying to seduce. There's a difference. She's a charismatic rogue. That's what she does. She makes people like, they watch the mouth so they don't watch the hands, and that's what makes her good at what she.
Yeah, bring out the Leah Silversteed for the first time of like the snoochie, trying to flirt with and trying to seduce, to try to get a mount and try to get something. And then the turning and even what I liked was Kadan going, oh, it's not a cult. They just follow a different religion to you guys. And that turn of like in the other interactions you've had with other groups, and then going back and like finding the kidnapped victims and finding like the next layer of everything is like, that's really turned, especially for Will, for Kadan's character. So I'm liking the moralness in that too. Even though, I mean, let's face it, Robold isn't really moral. No. He's not a moral character.
No. I'm going to say immoral.
Yeah.
But he does what he wants for his reasons.
Yeah. And they may be valid reasons. They may be good reasons. They may even be honourable reasons on rare occasion. But it's always just for the... Yeah. And I know a lot of people wouldn't have seen it. There is something... like, we got fan... Like, I say it's fan art, but... Peach used to draw a lot of stuff, and one of my favourite drawings he did of the episodes and of the Rusty Daggers and whatnot was one of the early ons where he had Robold in diapers, Peach in the middle, poking at both Robold and then Kip on the other side, all with leashes and leads.
Oh yeah, Ward was in diapers and she was poking.
Yeah.
And Don and Robo.
And
Yeah.
Kip's going, stop her, she's poking me. And then it's got Robold and Kadan standing up on the side holding the leashes, and Robold saying, we could just sell them.
And Don saying, no, we're not selling them. Robo's just on stage.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me that a friend of mine actually, I'll just drop over the Prince of the Apocalypse Discord, but a friend of mine actually drew Asteria for me.
Awesome.
With out telling me, she was just like, I heard you talk about it. I showed her the character off, and she drew that up in a night for me, and I was like, okay, thank you. I'm so happy that you liked the fact that I told you about my character.
That's nice.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I'm really excited to see Typo, who plays Explosia in our game. His sister's apparently also drawing fan art of Asteria, and I'm like, I want to see this. I need to see more of it.
Oh, so the same thing with Typo's sister. We didn't do shows last week because my goblin was sick, and then my computer died. The two weren't linked, but they kind of were because he was on the computer when it died, but it wasn't him, at least this time. But Aubrey, Typo's sister did fan art for that, which was essentially a woman frantic with hair everywhere and a big axe and a cough medicine or something in the
it was like
going,
it was Dayquil, I think, right?
Yeah, cure the child. The stream must go on type thing. It's like, I really want to tweet that out, but it's not my art and I can't.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I was told, yeah, please don't. It's like, it looks so good.
It's like, it looks so good. I was like, I wish she just like had like a Twitter or a handle that we'd be like, can we tweet it just because you showed it? Because I'm like, we'll link back to everything to you because I'm like, this is so good.
Yeah.
It was so cute and like funny.
It was really good. Peach is off.
Oh no, we lost
back.
Peach.
She'll be back. We've had internet issues recently, not just with Peach, but on other shows with Ursa May.
It's okay. I'm taking a part of her. It's fine.
Yeah. Hopefully, Ursa May's getting better with their internet. Welcome back, Peach.
Oh, there we go.
We're waiting for sound, but welcome back. So there was another thing. We do have some news today. Kamali, would you like to... we'll wait for Peach. Are you here yet? You're mute, or we haven't heard you yet.
Can't hear you, Peach.
Give me a second.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, is it working now? Okay, my audio just all my microphones started working. I thought maybe leaving and coming back. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. So, Kamali, would you like to do the news for the day?
Oh, thanks. Leave that to me, why don't you?
Yeah. Because you didn't leave it to me, so I'm going to put it straight back to you.
Yeah, well, we've got a wonderful opportunity that we're immigrating, but it means that I have to say goodbye to the show.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, news. Like, oh, come on.
I just met you, and I'm just like,
oh. Yeah, I know.
So sad.
Oh no. Well, I mean, you got an opportunity. And you need to.
Yeah, like happy for you, yes.
Yeah.
But also sad because I'm like, I want to meet you more.
I had to think really hard if we wanted to do this. I'm like, yay, opportunity. Oh no.
Yeah.
Aww.
What's wrong?
Oh no, so Robot is So's favorite. He just learned about eyeliner.
Yeah.
I didn't even know why the eyeliner, though.
Why not?
Okay.
Robo wants to look pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eyeliner, eyeshadow, those are
Is that the edgelord eyeliner type of... No?
anything goes. As long as it's blue and purple, he's happy.
Okay. Yeah.
It has to fit the aesthetic.
It's war
Yeah.
paint. He's like, I need this war paint.
So-
I'm like, yeah, Robo's a character who likes to draw a lot of attention to his face, so makeup.
So, unfortunately, this will be, you said you may be able to be, or you might be able to be here next week, so that'd be great if you could. But if you can't, understand. But that's why we didn't cancel the show today.
I'll give you instructions if I can't make it.
Yeah. As I've got a page from Kadan, like from Will for Kadan, I've got a page of instructions. But that's kind of why we're doing the talk today, because I didn't want to not have you here and not being able to say something. Because if you couldn't make it next week, and we've already had 2 cast members that were like, "Crap, this happens next week. I can't even say goodbye live."
Yeah.
I want to at least.
Yeah, I'd like to say goodbye.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see you shed some tears and be broken.
Where are my drops? I have my eye drops. Let me go and put them in. Like, I can shed some tears. It's okay.
Is this still prepared from yesterday? Is it? You still got leftovers from yesterday's show? Yeah.
It's still here. Don't worry. I'm always prepared. You always got to be prepared to cry on scene.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, this will be Wobold will be leaving the show. Kamala, you'll be leaving the show. But as I was talking to you before, it sounds like an amazing opportunity. Work comes first, family comes first. Living out in the middle of nowhere in Western Australia is not
so much fun.
It
No,
can't be
it's fun. It's so awesome. Come on, there's like 800 people.
And
Brilliant.
and how close is the nearest proper medical facilities?
Oh, it's just 3 hours away.
They're just 3 hours away.
Oh God.
And the monthly run to the shops.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fun.
Yeah.
Look, there's nothing a little bit of like Tylenol or like some bandages can't fix.
I just put ice on it. Ice and crackers. Public system in America. Ice and crackers.
Grab some like your local peas, put them in a freezer, put it on you. You're fine.
Limbs grow back.
Yeah, she'll be right, mate. Oh, good.
So we did just get asked who gets custody of Robold's beard though.
Well, I think So has permission from that on that one. Like
So has priority. So has priority. She's been going for it since day one. That is her beard.
I think Show's been going for the gold clasp since day one.
I would just like to imagine just Robold saying like, "Okay, guys, I gotta leave." I just takes off his beard and hands it off to So, and it's like, "Wait, this has been a lie from day one."
And walks.
It's like, this has been a lie from day one. This isn't my real beard.
Yeah, I'm not even a dwarf. I'm a halfling.
So's not not a tiefling. She's not human. She's actually a dwarf all along with horns.
Yes.
Robold's Robold. Yeah, she's gonna be a dwarf if she puts on the beard. That's the beard's power. It turns you into a dwarf.
But you've got horns, so would that mean a bearded devil?
Yep.
Cool.
Yes.
Wait,
you're
no,
a bearded devil.
I know how bad that is because we just had them in the Blades of Waterdeep. They're pretty powerful.
In honor of Robold, I do want to make a you know how people do a 1 out of 10 scale or 1 out of 5 scale? I want to make a clean shaven to beard a scale of how good things are. Clean shaven being the worst, the Robold beard of excellent being the best, and after like a 5 o'clock shadow being the middle ground. I do want to make that now in honor of.
Yes.
That would be
I'll give her
super cool.
So we just got asked about what homebrew rules do we use in the channel or in the show. Does anyone want to answer what homebrew rules we use?
We have all spells just ready.
That's a new
So
one.
it
Yep.
is an advantage machine.
Yeah. So gets advantage and essentially backstab when you're alone and also when you're with someone. Yeah.
Swashbuckler, man.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to think about it. I'm like, I know we're using because you actually just found out about it. That's like technically an optional rule, but it's just always like a rule that I think of is God, what is
Flanking.
it? Oh my god, flanking. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I've always used it because
Which, I mean, I've always just like thought it was a thing, but I found out it was an optional rule.
yeah, I didn't even know it was optional. I've always used it. I'm sorry. We also the main rule we have for this show is we roll hit points every level. So you don't get free ones at first. We've had free ones for other shows, then rolling after that. But this one was we're rolling from very first level all the way up, which is why we've got. So at level 5, we've still only 28 hit points. Which why Robold at level 5 at 58 hit points, but 25 of those hit points are toughness and con. Because you got some horrible rolls as the
I got
barbarian.
so many bad rolls.
I think literally half of mine is my constitution right now.
Yeah. So that's one of the big rules that we have around here. We also have rolling all the ability scores. So all the ability scores are rolled. There's no what's the point buy system, and there's no average or standard array. We don't use those ones either.
Which personally, I find the standard array is just bad anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so horrible.
But for this show, it's not just roll 4 dice, 4d6, and drop the lowest. It's actually roll 4d6, re-roll ones, then drop the lowest. So over the week, I've been looking into a few things, and hey, guess what? Merve has... The roll was not right, so we re-rolled ones for every single of the ability scores, because there was a 1 in each one of them that was dropped.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which put
I
up...
didn't realize that.
Which put up
Yeah, they actually are
almost
much
every
better.
one of them. Even the 17 went up to 18.
That's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
literally all my scores went up just ever so slightly, and I was like, oh, this is so much better than what it was before.
In the good old days, we rolled 3d6 down the line, and we're lucky if the characters were even playable. I've never done that. That is scary. My background is actually, we used to do for our face-to-face games 3d6, and you get to at least put them where you want, and you can drop 1 down by 2 to move 1 up, so you can do a little bit of adjustments, but nothing too extreme. But 3d6 down the line is really extreme. Like, no one's going to be playing a range on that one, because they always had the max, like the biggest maximums.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. That's like, I forgot that. So I'm sorry, I left you in the 20 range of HP because of that little ability score jump. My HP went up, so I went into the 30s. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'm alone in my 20 HP at level 5. I hate it.
I'm just like ever so slightly out of it though. I'm still right next to it with you.
I would literally kill somebody for 3 extra hit points.
Okay, so when we hit level 8, just take toughness and please don't kill us for that extra HP.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have a spell that I could give you extra HP? Maybe.
It's fine. She's not the tank. She doesn't get hit much because it's hard. She's hard to hit. And
That's
make
true.
it hard to hit. I have if I'm allowed to ask this question, Kamali, do you know how you want to write Robold out?
Yes,
Are you gonna share, or do we have to wait and see?
you're gonna see.
Robo's going out in a blaze of glory. He's killing everything.
Killing everything and then dying in the fires of an elemental.
I mean, that's a pretty glorious way to go out, though. He
And
kills
then-
everything.
As like he's killing the elemental from the inside, it fades. There's shoulders no more. The beard is still there.
The beard's still there. Wait, that lets us know that
Full
he's still
of
alive.
ashen hair.
The beard remains. We're like, we know he's out there somewhere. Somewhere he's still fighting.
Oh gosh, do we have to find another so there's 3 OG members left.
Yep.
Me, Don, and
Sky.
Kip.
Yep.
What's his
Yep.
name?
Yeah.
So, oh goodness, and Don, Will is leaving for a little bit, so it's gonna be me and Sky as the only 2 OG with 4 new guys. Are we gonna fill Kamali's role?
Well, that brings us to so we
The
currently
next
have
announcement.
the next announcement. We've actually got 2. So we currently have the looking for players open. It's been open for a week. Well, actually half a week. And we're getting various people in, including J-42, who's in chat at the moment. So that's open for that's initially open for both a permanent position, which will be replacing Kamali's Robold position, and also for the temporary, I think it's about 4-month position for so the 4-month position for Kadan with Will. We have been able to fill the permanent position with a local streamer who we've actually raided a few times on the channel. I've actually hung out in their channel several times, and I'm also in their Discord and hanging out there with them. They're from Brisbane. She's been playing for many years. Does voice acting, does everything. I think has a personality that will really fit in with the cast. I know this is the first time the cast hasn't been consulted in picking someone, and I apologise for that in advance. Well, I apologise for that now, really. But in the fact that I knew that Kamali was leaving last week, and because it was put on, I wasn't asked to tell everyone, and Kamali hadn't told everyone, so I had to keep everything very quiet. So yeah.
I could say today has been like the most stressful one, just
Yeah.
because of the slight slip up last night where he was like, somebody's leaving, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, who? Don't tell me. Oh god,
Yeah.
this is gonna be so sad.
So I was mentioning, I told Will, because Will said he's not going to be here. So I've told Will, and I've told him to contact you because I knew, yeah. And so, but yeah, I was speaking yesterday with the Children of the Marsh that, like, after the show, that hey, this is happening. It's going to happen tomorrow, so I may as well say anything. And I forgot that Nier was in the station.
And I'm just sitting here like, he's like, somebody's gonna be leaving. I was like, wait, somebody's leaving what show? Which show? Ours?
Yeah.
I was thinking Children of the Marsh, and then he's like, oh no, the Rusty Daggers. I was like, even worse. What?
Yeah.
What?
Another show you're in.
I was like, I'm in that show too.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you're the common denominator.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he was gonna be like, the actual person leaving the show is you, and I was like, oh, waiting for that punchline of you're leaving the show. And I'm like, wait, what? When was I gonna be informed of this?
Yeah, Nia, I'm kicking off the show. We've got other replacements. No,
Okay, good.
No.
Hi, dear.
So we have the permanent position filled by Emmy. Emmy Rabbit. She's a streamer from Brisbane. She does a lot. Like, she does 2 channels that she's involved with. It's pretty all D&D, all nerds, all of this type of stuff. But they do live plays more than the online side of things. So, yeah, I think she'll fit in really well. And we spent an entire night doing character design. Like, we've got a full character made up. We've got the art actually half made up.
Ooh.
So Jurymon was able to. Luckily, she was free. Jurymon is the artist that has done all our amazing art. Everything
Jurymon's
from
amazing.
It is amazing.
everything from the goblin on my one over here to Robold, Kadan, and everyone else. Yeah, not the overlays, just the art of the characters. But I didn't realize what the race was until afterwards. And the race is Goblin.
We're gonna have a goblin.
We're gonna have a kobold and a goblin, and I'm just gonna look at the both being like,
That's
you're
fun.
such cute little things.
Yeah. That's
They're
what I was
babies. I
thinking.
want to protect them.
And they're about the same height. And they're both going to be your frontline fighters.
I love we have for both day we would have like our team mostly shorties. I'm gonna say we have what is it called? Kobolds are the halflings of dragonborns. Goblins are the halflings for hobgoblins. I'm not wrong, and I'm going to say it, and you can't prove it wrong.
The best part about this is like half of the team is now basically uncommon races, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like you got kobold, goblin, and you got a tiefling, which are the more uncommon of like common races. And it's like I'm over here like, hi guys, I'm a half elf. This is the actual party over here. Don't mind me.
We always had that. We started with kobold, Goliath, tiefling, pretending to be human. Dwarf.
She was human. What are you talking about?
Dwarf, and one human. And the Goliath, as soon as he hit second level, dark vision instantly, needed that as the warlock ability, which left Kadan, the only human, not being able to see in the dark.
That's why I never play a human.
And
Or a dragon.
so
Not only do I not like playing human, but I mean, like, I don't mind. But it's just like, I have so many options here. Why would I play a human? They're so cool.
Yeah. So with the announcement of having filled the permanent position, we still have the non-permanent position open. I will say that we're still open, still taking applications in. Some are good, some are bad. I'm
Just
certainly going to be
Roll20.
putting them on the on Discord of failed applications, like at least one of them. So I mean, if you've read any of the application things that I've done, it's a huge amount of stuff because I really want to make sure people really want to be a part of the show and understand everything that's going on. So there's a lot of stuff I write in for if you're going to apply, read it all. And I ask for a little bit of something close to responses in some details. I usually delete 1-liners or 2-line applications. So
I got purely because of rhyming.
I can't remember, but they're all there. All of you guys' applications are there, except for Nia's because she didn't really apply.
I have the messages with you. That's it.
Yeah.
Nepotism.
But so there's one application which is massively long. I mean, massively long. And I was stressed so much that morning when I got it in. And I was trying to do a lot of things. Like, I've got this massive thing. It's like, oh crap, I've got to read this, got to read this. And it's like, okay, sure, now go back to everything else. Come back, I think, the next day, get a second thing in the application. And it says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to withdraw my application. I've just checked my webcam. It doesn't work as well as I thought. I'm like, I've spent like 10 minutes reading this application, which was when I didn't have time to do so, but I wanted to give the time to actually read it. I'm like, and then they withdraw. I'm like, thanks. they would have put probably an hour plus work into it as well. I'm like,
That's so sad. I would like to message that person and just be like, hey, I can buy you one. It's okay. Just give me your location. I'll send you it. If you really would just keep apply, just apply.
I have offered that before.
I'm like, because honestly, I mean, if you put in all that work, I wouldn't want you to like put in all that effort and not be able to play if I really liked you.
Yeah. But
I think my favorite application has been when we first started applying. I was looking through the other applications because I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if I should actually do this, all that. And then I saw somebody who was like, hey, I'm 13. Can I play? And I was like,
Oh.
baby.
You'd be surprised how many people apply that are under 18.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
it's
it
amazing.
depends. Like, I actually, in one of my games, I play with somebody who's 17 and is almost 18. So it's like, it doesn't bother me, but it's just like, when you see those people who are like 15, 14, they're like, I'm here to play, and everyone else is like in their 20s to 30s or 40s, and you're like,
Yeah.
how do I really want to play around that? Like, not that it's bad, but I don't want to play around you on the off chance that something is like said or done, and I don't want that.
Yeah. So, because with the introduction of the goblins, the rise of the goblin lords this week, I didn't know where that was going to go. So the channel is now at the adult level. We've actually put that up as the adult level, and I'm probably going to keep it there. Because, I mean, I just did it as a just in case, and then when they're talking about killing and eating the children, I was like, thank you, I chose the right one. Because they just ran with it. But as for 13-year-olds and young people joining, I've spent the last 10 years teaching circus to children. In Australia, which is where I am, we've got working with children's checks, there's legal things that has to be doing, things like that. We have... there's lots of legal things, and I run this as a business, even though we don't make enough to be able to pay everybody. And the idea is to get to a stage where we have so much money coming in, I will be paying people, like all the cast members, for their time. But let's face it, I don't have that much. We're getting about $5 a week, maybe 10.
Time to set up a Kickstarter.
But we've got everything.
Make a Patreon.
We've even got merch.
Or Patreon.
We can make a Patreon. I'll make the art for it.
We've even got merch down below, and we've got everything. But no, we're not making much money. So technically, this is a business, and if I'm having someone under 18, then volunteering their time from another country, there's a lot of legal issues going on. It's like, look, I can't do that, and I have to say that to everybody that comes in and asks for it, because they are saying that, look, I'm under 18, it's okay, and I have to go, no.
Yeah.
A lot.
Because honestly, at that point, you're volunteering your services to something that makes money. And that can be a lot of legal issues, especially when you're live streaming it, and we are getting donations and pay for like some of this. So it's like, being just a volunteer doesn't really, that's like a child labor, essentially.
Yeah. There's the whole thing about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to I've always, well, I haven't gone to, but I've always wanted to go to the disability employment services that are in my town, and I've always wanted to walk in with my little goblin and say, hey, do you have any services for child labour, like slave labour? Have you got that? I've always wanted to do that joke with them. He's only 7.
Oh my god.
I've always wanted to do that because I've walked past there so many times and like, I really want to screw with these people's minds. He cleaned up my house the other day. We were waiting for the bus to go to school, and he said, cleaning. And I just turned around, and he's putting things away. He's moving his bean bags around me and things like that. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, sir? Cleaning. And he's just...
That's cute.
Yeah, most of the time it's just a mess. So yeah, that's the big news of that's going on as well. We've got a new cast member coming in. I think she's going to be great. We're still looking for a temporary replacement, and like you guys will be more involved in the next person. I couldn't. I
mean, it makes sense. It's somebody who's already in role-playing groups, and they've already like been on live streams. They seem like they'd be perfectly fine to understand how this all works. So,
and I've also, it's not just been on live streams, but I've seen them on live stream. I've seen how comfortable they are in front of the camera. I'm always more partial to streamers because usually they're more comfortable. I know there's another streamer that wants to be a part of the group, wants to be part of the channel and then the show, and I'm apprehensive more for the fact that they were uncomfortable in front of the camera. And I just think that might not work. And I'm saying that knowing that Peach currently has no camera on.
My internet is keeping me from doing that.
But that's
But
internet.
she has been here. And she has shown herself.
30+ episodes she's been here.
I think I have earned a goblin seniority. I think I've earned goblin seniority. I've been here for a minute. I do want to say,
It's not that she's hiding. She's using her darkness spell at all times.
listen, I didn't feel like using my corporeal form right now. Allow me to be gaseous for a little bit.
Gaseous form. Let's do it.
I do want to say, I used to have a fear of cameras. Not a fear. It's just I never did like having my picture taken or anything like that. And with this channel and live streaming every Wednesday, it has helped me get over it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'll say like
I've never seen you being uncomfortable in front of the camera from my observations. So at least you hit it well early on.
Yeah, I am great at acting. I did 2 years of it. So I should be, decent.
I can understand that one. I did like 4 years of theater back in high school because I was one of those kids. And I mean, I've never been on camera until I was in like actual like Children of the Marsh. I've done like live streams with friends. They were just like silly live streams where we're talking, but I've never actually been on camera in front of one. And I was like, I'm cool with being on camera, but I'm like nervous when I first get into it just because it's like, I'm kind of getting used to it. It's like trying to get used to people you're not used to. And that was probably me where like, I think I was really nervous my first episode of Children of the Marsh, but just kind of kept my cool because you just play along, you just have fun. It's D&D.
What about yourself, Kamali?
Cameras don't bother me because I'm pretty and awesome. Well, I don't want you to look at me.
and the worship me, the intro worship.
I do not have a beard, Josh. No, I wax.
Actually,
okay.
I feel like for an episode, you should have just worn a beard. You should have just like dawned on the full like yes.
I haven't thought about it. I will admit.
There has been like there's a lot of streamers out there that do the D&D stuff and they do the cosplay for the characters. I can't ask people to do that because I can't do it myself. It's like I'll never ask people to voice act because I rarely do voice acting myself. It's just not my style. I can't modulate my voice, and for 20 years of role playing, it was never a part of my group. It was only a part of the group very late in when we had a new person who was actually a trained actor who knew how to do all the voices and all the bits and pieces. And for me, I was like, that is awesome, but we'd never seen that. Yeah. And this was before like the whole Critical Role voice acting and everything, which is just so common now.
Like for me with playing Mava in here, I was like, I didn't want to voice act, but I kind of just literally when I was creating the character just was like writing all these spells and coming up with a voice for her, and it just kind of happened where I was like, now I have this like, yes, I'm Mava. Hello, how are you? And I'm just like, brilliant. That's me now. I'm like, I don't know why. That's the only character that I could think of that's had a voice of her own that I'm just like, I don't voice act, but this is her. I can't not play her.
The first few episodes Robert had. Sorry, Peach, go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. So used to have a more Valley Girl going on, and then it just slowly changed into a higher pitch. So it used to be like this, and it was like I think for like an episode, like half an episode before I just changed it to a higher pitch of my voice. And she's so excited to be here. That's the pun with her name. She just introduces, I'm so happy to see you. Like that. So it's just a higher pitch of my voice, and that's it. That's all that so is.
Yeah.
I think also the
more
problem
than
is
one
like
episode of Valley Girl.
the problem with like voice acting and stuff like that is depending on like for me when I get into games, most of my games are like later in the day when I've already been at work or if I've done stuff. And by that point, it's like I can sometimes get into the voice, or I'm so tired that I'm just like, my voice is done for the day. I don't have a voice. I can't get those notes. I can't do that. And so it's like weird to go in, play a character, and then not have that voice anymore because I can't do it. Like for Asteria, all last episode yesterday, I didn't play her voice. I was trying to like reach a higher girly voice and was like, my throat is dying. I don't have it. I can't.
Yeah.
If you
I tried to go with heavier South African accent with Robot, but that just didn't gel at all.
Yeah.
So I just talked like me, just a little bit deeper.
Yeah. If you haven't seen, if Peach and Kamal, if you haven't seen the Children Mask, have a look at it and watch for when Typo starts speaking in character voice. Typo has this really, really deep voice as his natural voice, and he plays the highest pitched female voice character, and he's able to get it. And like, I was shocked.
I'm just like, where does this voice come from? Where?
I was shocked. And he doesn't do that, but he stands up and he brings his whole body into it as well, just to get that voice. I'm like, we heard it the first time right before the first session, like in the pre-show. I'm like, how did that come out of you?
Like, take my voice, drop it like 20 octaves lower, just he's down here somewhere, all the way under here, and then he reaches this high point, and I'm just like, how?
It's like, I don't know. I mean, this is why I don't do voice acting. I was like, I can't do that with my voice. I can't modulate my voice. Even my goblin tells me to stop singing. And if I don't, he pushes his hand over my mouth or then starts shoving things in my mouth. So I can't do that. I can't modulate like that. But
also, like, it's for me why, like, if I play a character who I feel like I could voice better. Like, so most of my characters are going to be very, like, either female or, like, the, like, cute male that over there that has, like, a cute voice. Because I can't lower my voice at all.
Yeah. I will say the times that I've really enjoyed this show is when you were voice acting each other. And those times really stuck out for me. Where I think there was an episode where someone was in chat and they couldn't get the video up or anything like that, so they're in chat typing, and I think So was playing the character's voice. Or
I think it was in the reverse order.
The reverse.
It was in chat, and then Ward and Java was doing my voice.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Everyone loves to do a So, but that's only because So loves to. She has the thing about it. She has the actor feet. She knows how to perfectly mimic these guys, but instead she goes, "They're vain, and I talk like this." Or,
probably needed longer pauses.
So likes doing terrible impressions of her friends.
See, but that's just funny. Like, that's amazing. Just to be like, I know the character, and I'm gonna make them like into like what I think their personality is.
Yeah, and early on, one of the strange things about this is that I've never had to really manage people, like launching the channel like this. I've run shows before. Sorry, no, I've run role-playing games before with friends. Like my role-playing group, we were there for 20 years. Most of us were the same friends group from school, or two separate friends groups which came together. So a long time together. We knew where our boundaries are. I've never had to play X card. We never even knew about the X card back then, but we have it here. And I think I'm the only one that's ever had to use it in games. And I don't even think I've used it in this one. But what I was trying to say is that managing people, I've never had to like just talk to people after a game like, "Are you okay? Was that too far?" and stuff like that, because everyone's so new. And I actually had to speak to Sky. I think it was only once, because of how much Peach was picking on him in character, in game. with like So's picking on Kip in game, and I actually had to speak to Kip or speak to Sky out at like. Well, I think it was a pre-show one time. Just go like, is this okay? Like, is everything okay? So, oh yeah, I know it's in character. It's great. I love that playing like that to and fro, and I can play off it. It's really really fun. I'm like, okay, because I didn't know.
Sal is very mean to Kip, and I feel so bad about it. But like, Kip gets her back, so it evens out.
Yeah, but I actually, because Sky plays Kip so well, I didn't know where Kip started and where Kip finished and where Sky started, because like his acting of Kip was so well, and I just had to actually stop and just specifically ask, is that okay? Do I need to speak to Peach? Do I need to raise something? It's weird.
I think I've had somebody ask me this before as well, like something similar to that in one of my games where, I mean, I'm gay, so somebody actually had to like come outside the session and ask me, is this okay if they're talking about this? And I was like, yeah, my character's fine with it, I'm fine with it, it's nothing with me. Like, if it's in character and we're all cool with it, whatever.
Yeah. I think the Blades of Waterdeep one, I actually had to ask everyone, hey, I'm doing this as a bit darker, and this is from excerpts of games that I've been in and ran, because I've been in like 5 or 6 Waterdeep campaigns for the 2nd edition, and people said yes and no. It's like, okay, we won't include those darker, naughtier bits, and yeah. So when you guys went to the Waterdeep, I kind of knew where you guys were, where you would sit, so I didn't really need to ask as much. But I do want to ask though, where did the character ideas come from? I know it might be harder for you, Kathy, because you've only just finally gave me a background.
Well, at the start, I gave you 3 different types of backgrounds, and we chose the most neutral, nothing saying one of the 3. Well, Robo just sort of happened.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'd like to play a dwarf. Oh, that beer is magnificent. Oh, hello. Off you went.
But no, the beard was there from the start, from memory.
Oh yeah.
Because that was totally part of the art brief.
Robold was built around the beard.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Robo grew out of the beard, not the other way around. The beard shaped his personality.
Yeah.
And I know that you like witches and whatnot, so I'm guessing that's where Merva came through.
Partly that. I usually draw inspiration for characters through like shows, TV, like things I'm into at the time, or just like something that I really like have an idea from. Like, I've made a character based off Wizard of Oz, literally based off of that. Maybe it came from me really wanting to play somebody who is like a witch, but also wanted to play somebody who had like kind of a Scarlet Witch vibe. That's kind of what I wanted to go for, is something like that. And since you asked me to play somebody who was a healer, I was like, okay.
I didn't ask you. I just said we are.
Well,
the druid is leaving.
In a way.
No, I just said this is the makeup.
Yeah.
And the druid is leaving, and in a few months' time, the cleric is also leaving. You could have chosen not to be. You could have come in with a bard, and bards have a limited healing too.
Yeah. Based off of the like party like that was already given to me, I was like, okay, so's a rogue and might go bard. Robold's the barbarian and sorcerer. I have a wizard and a fighter mixture, and then I have a cleric. And I was like, well, one, I hate paladins. I don't want to play a paladin, so I'm not gonna play a paladin. And I'm looking at the other classes, like I mean, my favorite class to go to is sorcerer, but I don't want to step on toes. So I'm like, I don't want to pick anyone else's stuff that they already have. So druid seemed like the best one, just because it's, well, somebody's leaving as a druid. I'll play a druid so that they still have that. But then it's like coming up with a story behind them. It's like, okay, I want to be somebody who's just like completely opposite of what the other druid is. So I think I'd asked a couple questions about their vein, and it was like, okay, a graceful elf who's like androgynous and all this, and I was like, let's go the opposite route. I'm gonna play a half elf who is like completely all about exposing herself. She doesn't care what if it gets her way, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, Mavo is certainly not Thurvane.
Yeah.
And I don't. Before I ask Peach where So came from, I will say you can play two classes in the same game. It's okay. You can play classes so differently. I mean, we've got Peach, we've got So, who's almost a bard, but without the formal bard classes. We've even got Kip, who plays music as well, without any formal bard classes and does singing. And so you don't need the class to be the character. The character, yeah. So you can have two druids, you can have two fighters, two rogues.
Because I mean, all the classes can be built differently.
Yeah.
It was just more of like looking at it from a like, this group's already really tightly knit, and I don't want to ruin anything of like coming into a group not knowing what I might play that might get in the way. So I just kind of wanted to play something that would be also for me different from what I normally play anyway, because I mean, no secret here, I play wizards and I play sorcerers. They're my favorite. Those are always my two favorites. Bard is like my next one. Actually, perfect opportunity, but I mean, like, I literally, sorcerer and bard are right here. I have pins of them. So there's my favorite, but I'm like, okay, I want to play something that I don't get to play, and I've only played a druid once. So playing a druid was like, yes, let's do this.
So it wasn't me forcing you. Good.
Yeah, no, not forcing, because I'm like, I don't get to play like the nature-y type of character often, and I wanted to play something like that. So it was like a win-win situation.
Yeah. And Peach, where the heck did So come from?
Oh, I am so glad you asked. So is actually a couple combinations of earlier characters from Dead campaigns.
So all the personalities are different characters.
From Dead campaigns, exactly. Like somebody had brought up to me that, hey, you make a lot of characters who like one way or another like sort of hide who they are. And I was like, yeah, I kind of do. I just like that concept. And then when I was looking at this, because I had no D&D games going on at the time, I was like, what if I just did that to a character? Give them just a bunch of like little itty bitty secrets to keep. But So's concept was sort of just in my head at the time. I was really going to plan for a fill a need character. I was waiting for everyone else. I remember session 0 because I was like, yeah, whatever you guys choose, I'll backfill the character. And then so I originally wanted to do a cleric of the forge.
Okay, yeah.
I had art drawn for her and everything. She was gonna be this like really busty orc lady. I was very happy about her.
I love it.
And then I was like, we have a cleric, and I don't feel like doing an orc right now. I'm gonna save her for a different campaign that never came up. So it was just born out of a necessity to be a really happy character. Just sort of. I don't remember the exact conversation, but like I was like, yeah, I love doing little voices, and I did a little Valley Girl voice, and I was like, oh, I love that concept for a character. And so basically went from like a character concept that was drawn through a lot of my characters and a voice before it became So.
And then class came last as you.
Yeah. She is what I call a charismatic rogue, which everything she does is flashy and bold and not in the shadows at all. She's hot pink. She's not hot pink because I hate hot pink, but she is like a bright.
Oh, ow.
I don't like hot pink. I love every other color. Your hair color is not hot pink. That is
no. My hair was hot pink because the bottle is like literally neon pink.
Listen,
it was.
Listen, you're allowed to be wrong.
Look, I can show you this bottle. It is literally right here.
No, I'm saying you're allowed to be wrong about your color choices.
Look at these.
It's
look
bad
at them.
color. It's a bad color. It's
so
too aggressive as a color. I love every other shade of pink though. Your pink is more I wouldn't say bubblegum, but like advertisement bubblegum pink.
Yeah. No, now
That
I actually
everyone
like
here
doing
is
cotton
rocking the
candy.
pink hair.
Everyone actually in this group is rocking pink. It's
So,
like,
yeah.
yes.
And I was saying to Kamali earlier that my hair was supposed to be darker than hers, and it totally didn't come out that way.
It looks fine. But I don't know how this conversation of pink started.
Yeah.
I got off track.
She was hot
Sorry.
pink, she's a valley
We saw
girl.
it with
she's-
this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's like a bright pink Tiefling. She's not going to be in the shadows too often. She is loud, excitable. She gives people unnecessary nicknames. Rolly, Catty, and eventually she's gonna call Kip Kippy. Just wait for it.
Oh,
But that's not thing.
just make sure
for
he's
a
in a
little
good
bit.
mood or not hearing.
Yeah. But she loves, like, she came,
I think Mava would agree with that nickname.
she's just, she was born sort of out of a life that needed to be thrown into a party, really. The life of the party.
Well, Kadar was supposed to be that.
Yeah, they were gonna, like, I love when Will talked about how they were gonna, like, combine, they were gonna be like the, if Kadan had been as originally planned, he and So would be literally the worst.
Yeah. They would have been they would have been the two massive troublemakers. Ward would have been led on, which he was anyway, but worse. Then it would have been left up to Kamali to probably be the sensible one until.
I wonder if that would have happened.
Until probably not. No. Until Kip made his character arc, which he probably wouldn't have done anyway because he would have been so pissed off at everybody mucking around that he would have been the bitter, like early Kip that he was. He would have probably stayed that bitter Kip. And not.
Speaking of early concepts, I really do like how each character has grown a little bit. Like, Nier, I know you haven't been here for it.
Yeah, it's
but,
okay.
like, if you don't think they get along now, you should have seen them when they first started.
I saw the first episode and it was fun. It was fun watching how like everyone acts, and then like I saw that episode, saw the episode that you guys had played together doing the shopping trip, and then when I actually got into the first episode with you guys, I was like, wow, they've come a long way since these like crazy characters at the beginning to where they're at now.
Yeah.
Those calm down. Robold's like
Calm down.
People can touch Robold's beard.
But see,
No.
Touched it before. She braided flowers into it.
That was a very specific outside part of the beard that Robold very specifically assigned for you to touch. Not anywhere else. You would have done.
I do like though, like, because I mean, it's really good character growth. I mean, if your character stays the same from episode 1 all the way to episode 50, there's something wrong. Like, they should change over in time.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with that. And one of the things that was mentioned yesterday after the show for the Children of the Marsh was that at first, which was mentioned by Ned as well today, was that at first everyone was very apprehensive and just very stilted on camera, not really knowing what's going on and not really being as smooth as what you guys are now. And I tried to explain to them that, well, this group, the Rusty Daggers group, kind of had their group bond by me saying, okay, we're going to do a tech run on this day. And then the next week we're going to do the character creation. And from me, what I see is the group bonding was the group essentially peer pressuring me into doing the character creation immediately. And it's like, can we do character creation? Can we do character creation? We want to do character creation. Can we do character creation? Can we do character creation? What if you do the tech run really quickly? Can we do character creation? Can we get that done?
Yeah.
I've got these characters ideas. Can we get the character? And that was how the group bonded, at least in my view. And so
I was silently panicking, to be honest.
yeah.
I was like, oh, come on, I don't think this fast.
And on the upside, it allowed Jurymon that extra like week to do all the character art, but she did like them all back to back, like on her stream. And I was actually on her stream, like, moderating, because I used to mod for her, and I'd see familiar faces like Sky Blue Shinx turn up into chat, and it's like, oh, that's really good art. It's like, yeah, you would say so, because that's a kobold that she's doing, and you know that's going to be key. And so it gave her more time, but it allowed, like, that first episode, I think I was possibly more stilted than you guys. Because I was doing a big ambitious project. I was locking this time slot. Like, I've got 7 days a week to stream, and I was locking this slot to be this for, like, how long it takes. Or until TPK, which is going to be very expensive.
We were so stressed about TPK. That's why we've all got secondary
That's
characters.
actually, I was like, oh no, like seeing Kadan go down immediately, I'm like, oh, that's gonna hurt your wallet. That's gonna hurt the wallet.
Well, and that's the Children of the Marsh campaign. They've actually worked out how much it costs me to replace a character. So they've worked out how much a donation has to be to kill off a character.
Yep. We worked out exactly how much it would cost to kill off a character and then pay for it.
Yeah. So that's fun. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Because, well, let's see. We've launched the Children of the Marsh last month. So that's 5 characters. Plus we've got the group shot, which is still in the making. We've launched Rise of the Goblin Lords this week. Another 5 characters. Plus we're going to have a group shot, or we do have a group shot made. Plus 2 new overlays as well, 1 for each of them. So please don't kill off characters. please don't.
We'll try. I mean, hey, wait, we'll try, but you really have to try for us. I mean, that's up to you. Maybe you have to fudge a couple of rolls behind screen to be like, okay, I'm not killing you off. I don't have the money for that right now.
Karsh says he doesn't want to kill off anyone's characters, but then he throws 100 orcs at you.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
100
more than
orcs.
100.
It was more than 100.
Yeah.
But come on, it was written up as 40 orcs. How easy did you go through 40 orcs? That first encounter was I think 30, and you just decimated them. You just totally annihilated that. And it's like, yeah, I layered them. I think everyone was about 40 each time that I brought in, with, I think it was about 120, 130, 140 orcs.
Something similar like that.
With very little rest.
I think it's in Storm King's Thunder where they have like the town get raided and you're literally like right there and it's like there's like 40, 50 guys and you're like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Level 2.
Yeah.
Let's do this, guys. I'm here. Kill everything.
This is a goofy thing, very off topic, and I'm sorry about it.
Yep.
But the idea popped into my head because we talked about it earlier about shipping, and I know the only time it's ever been brought up in the Daggers campaign was Kamali, who said she ships Kip and So.
I mean,
I have art drawn for that only because when somebody says something, I do. When somebody says something and it sticks in my head, it won't go away until I draw it out. So I drew out something about that. I called it sip because I love saying take a fucking sip, babe.
No, that's wrong.
It will never ever be shown, ever.
Oh, I was about to ask for that.
how?
I was
How
about
can
to
you do this?
ask for it.
Can I pay you to draw it for me?
I'd have to redraw it. I have standards.
I don't mind you redrawing it, but can I pay you to draw it?
No. But I want to does anybody have rusty dagger ships?
Robold and Robold's beard.
Robold and the beard. It's
I
solid.
think Kip and Peach was so was shipping Kip and the bard, the elven bard.
Oh yeah.
Teasing than anything, but yeah.
Teasing
I personally, me liking conflicting character concepts, I shipped Robold and Kadan. because I like character concepts.
I mean, I kind of honestly, when I first got into the group, was like, they're kind of like dad and dad in this group.
They are. Yeah.
They're
Good dad and
dads.
very bad dad.
That's the character art. Like, that's the character art with the 3 kids, and they're so touching me. And then the 2 dads are saying, we can just sell them.
Just sell them.
Just
Tell your kids. It's so easy.
Right.
I can't say shipping in here, but in Children of the Marsh, obviously there's already ships going on for my character with Hunter, who's my character has crush on. And then I ship Ander with anything in the forest. Anything in the forest. He's a tree hugger. He needs to hug trees. And I kind of already like have this in my head of like I kind of want Explosia to ship with Edric, but I don't think they'd have anything in common. I'm just like, you'd just be cute together, but you don't have anything in common. I just think you're cute.
Yeah. So Hunter's the oldest of the group, the 17-year-old, the oldest of the group. He works in a bar as a works in a tavern as the chef, as a cook, and has his weapons are cutlery. So he's got large cutlery or small cutlery. That's it. And he's just picked up a couple of short swords. Just like, I think I'll still keep the cutlery to keep with the theme. It's like, okay. And Ander is the druid who is essentially his family he's orphaned, but his family is now this group of hunters which found him in the woods and has helped protect him. But Ander's very much anti-hunting. So that's an issue there. But
I'll send you guys the secret chat that I had with Hunter because nobody got to see it. Even Karsh didn't see it because we didn't tell anyone. But I'll send you guys in the Prince of the Apocalypse. You guys get to see it.
Okay. There's like that group, like when they finish the show, like they're still in chat, because all the groups here in the Discord have their own private channels, and they've got their own voice channels, and so there's people still in voice chat, like hours afterwards, for the cast members still talking to each other. Like, okay, sure.
I think not last week because of all the technical difficulties, but the week before that, Children of the Marsh, me and Edric, the player who plays Edric, stayed in the chat until 4 a.m. Literally 4 a.m. I left the game at 11:30, I think, like 11:30, something like that, with everyone, and we were still there at 4 a.m. the next day, and I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm dying. We should sleep, but let's keep going.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I talked with Typo until 2 a.m. So, how do you make bonds? Just stay in chat forever and don't stop.
And ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. But we don't usually do that around here because we've got, we've got Sky who's already up to about what? Does everyone figure out when he actually finishes? Like what time it is when he? Is it about 4 a.m.?
I think it's around like 2 a.m.
Because he used to go to sleep before the show and wake up for the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
We used to have chats after the show, but like everyone is so tired after the show because we all live in different time zone where it's super late except for Karsh.
And super early for Kamala, yeah. Which is why the show is where it is. It can't move either side. We can't go earlier because it'll make.
Well, now that I'm gone, you can make it.
Well, we can make it later.
You can make it later, yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's like because it's super early for you.
Time zones.
Well, we had every single country I believe in the world that has daylight savings in this cast.
Yep.
Like we had America, UK, Australia, and Brazil, and I don't think there's any other daylight savings country in the world.
For my my Monday game that I play with just a bunch of friends, we have 2 Australian players, we have a UK player, we have a PST time zone player, and then we have an Eastern time zone player, and me as a Central time zone player.
Oh my word!
And it's like, it's a nightmare because we have so many people all over. And it's like, oh, everyone's like so tired by the end of it. And I'm just like, these people are waking up in the morning. They're happy. I'm over here like, I'm dying. Let me go to sleep.
Yeah. We've seen shows where Sky has just been so tired and he's been...
He just wilts. So cute.
That first episode when I saw him, he looked like he was so out of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
you just go to sleep. It's fine. We'll
Yeah.
pretend that you're here.
And Peach, I know. Well, we don't have a camera on you, but I know some of the episodes, some of your medicine that you've had, just sends you so sleepy and so out of it. So
I think the first time I took my meds during a show, like I was nodding off during battle, like it was on camera and everything. It was just me like waking up and falling asleep. It was super bad.
Yep.
And I feel bad about it every day.
Next week's gonna be my hard point of I have Sunday all the way through I think like Thursday, all 6 a.m. shifts. Every day I work 6 a.m. and I'm like, I have Monday game until about 11, Tuesday game that goes about until 11:30, 11, and then I have this game that also goes to about 11, and it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm gonna be sitting here like 6 a.m. shifts. No, but I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. Fight me.
Well, I mean, I've got to wake up at the same time every day, and because I've got to get my goblin ready for school, and I've got to do all the showers and everything before he gets up, which doesn't always happen, and which makes things even worse. But I've been stressing. I haven't slept very much for a while. For the last couple of months, I haven't been sleeping well because of launching 2 shows. And I was like, okay, for the Goblin Lord show this week is like, finally, once it's finished, I can get to sleep, no problem. I slept in, so I woke up not at 7:15. I woke up at 8:15 with the bus beeping to say it's here, and I'm like, oh crap. So we ran really close to the time of I had to take him to school, get him ready up, and he demanded breakfast, of course, and then off to school, and then rushing back, getting everything set up because he doesn't see all this, and then start the show. I'm like, oh my god, I was so tired. I'm still tired. I'm going to go to sleep tonight really early. I'm going to do just whatever Let's Play tomorrow, relax, and next week's the school holidays. I can relax. And this school holidays is the first school holidays. We're not skipping an episode, so we're not skipping shows.
There we go.
So usually, my goblin stays with me pretty much goblin stays with me full time. He visits his mother a few weekends a month. In the school holidays, we have 50-50. So. 1 week we pretty much will always have a week off of all streaming, but we've got some respite care for him. So for the 3 show days, the role-playing show days, he's going to be in respite care, so we're not going to miss a show. We're going to keep it going, going to keep going in, although the Let's Plays are not going to be happening. But next weekend we're going to have lots of Let's Plays, lots of this, and I'm going to have hopefully a lot of sleeping. Lots and lots of sleeping. And hopefully we don't kill off Kadan.
Yeah, hopefully not.
So I have been nagged by a certain outside party to share this, but I will share it in chat. It is up to, it's old because I drew it a while ago, and it's missing a few panels that I can't find.
In
But,
chat or in Discord chat?
In Discord, color by numbers.
Oh, not chat. You're not gonna. Oh,
I don't know how to post in chat.
Neither do I, actually. I will say neither do I. And you've even put spoiler in front of it too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's
I ship it.
super old. I made it the night Leia made that comment. I was like, I draw these characters too much. I might as well.
I love it.
So just before you delete it, because you've put stuff up there and deleted before, I'm saving it, but I'm not going to post it because I don't have your permission. But I do have a copy, because I know you've deleted stuff before.
I've deleted one thing before, but only because it was a surprise, and I wanted it to be there for. You can show the stream. The stream can be privy to it, but in context, it is missing a few panels and is old, like as old as when Leia made that comment. I made it the night, and I was like, yeah, I draw these guys enough because I have so many unfinished drawings of every character in my computer somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
Or in my notebooks.
How many? I've got to ask you a question. How many notebooks have you gone through? Because you kept on losing them.
I lost my recycled one that smelled like taquitos.
Probably for the best anyway.
I found it, but I lost it again. And then I'm on my second journal that I'm kind of filling out.
I think I made it like through like 75% of my like sketchbook, and I still have to finish the rest of it. I'm just like, no, I'm lazy. I don't want to, but I need to.
I have a bucket of unfinished sketchbooks. Let me find it.
Like,
back from 2012. I don't want to look in them.
Okay.
There we go.
I was like, I had some ones that were so old that I'm like, no.
So there's the art for the viewers. That's the Kobold and so Kip and So shipping.
Oh, it's so cute. I just love it.
It's super old, and I blame Leia. Blame Leia. She's not here. Blame Leia.
So at least Leia's still about. She's still active in, or semi-active in the Discord. So it's like, yeah, if things do change, she's always welcome back. We may end up in the stage where we've got like 10 people in this cast. Just although we'll probably have
everyone comes back all at the same time, and it's just like,
yeah.
Good luck, Karsh.
Yeah, it's like, well, at least I've got character art, but then I'm gonna have to institute what is it? Permadeath. Just to
That's
bring the numbers down.
That's when like all of the like encounters are gonna be like the hardest thing ever.
No, you just institute permadeath. So
I mean, yeah,
if
but I mean, like,
dies,
you
you're
have
off
to
the
make
show.
all those encounters tough for everyone.
Well, you don't think a fire elemental
He's gonna
tough?
just... I mean, that was tough, but I mean, like, if you have like 10 people, that's not tough.
But that's without the radiant damage,
Yeah, that's true.
and it's without the damage resistances. So you guys have done a lot of damage to that. Has anyone died? No, we have not had a single death in this campaign. Actually, in any of the campaigns we've ran over the last year. The reason is, well, at least my thoughts on the matter is that in 5th edition it's very player friendly. My background, and I'm guessing Polly, I'm just going to call you Polly because Porphy because I've got no idea how to pronounce your name as well. I'm guessing your background as well is around my time period where you have a lot more player deaths and character deaths, and you just remake a new character and you start again. Or you bring the character back and there's a little bit of punishment from that, but you keep on going and there's development from that. In 5th edition, there's a lot less deaths of characters unless they've done really something stupid, or the encounter just went totally wrong. So we've come close, and I think the closest we've had was well, I don't think we've got enough power in the party for resurrection, but they are working for people higher up, and that may come into it in this group. But as I said, we've got 3 to 5 backup characters each person. Because you've only just started, you've got one which hasn't been started to be filled out, but yeah.
Still need to figure out what I'm gonna do there.
Yeah. Other campaigns, Children of the Marsh, I don't think you're going to get much chance of revival.
Yeah, probably not. I feel like if they're dead, that's where I'm gonna figure out if any of the kids die, what do we do? Like, do we just bring in like, oh hey, other teenage friend that we had all along that we didn't talk about ever?
Yeah, possibly something along those lines. Yeah, or brother or sister of.
Well, that doesn't work for me because my character is an only child.
Well, you haven't said
However,
that.
it works
so
for Explosia.
You haven't said that yet, so don't. Yeah, Explosia. You
Oh no,
don't want
I
to meet
wrote it off
Explosia's
because
siblings.
Explosia is like a sister. That's the only reason I was like, she is an only child
Yeah.
because of that.
You don't want to meet Explosia's siblings. There's a
Yeah.
reason why Explosia is who they are. Oh yeah, so you mean revival spells in general? I really don't know how revival works in 5th edition. I would love to have it. What's the old one where you don't come back as the same race, but everything
Resurrection.
else, the resurrections.
There's
I
a
love
resurrection spell like that. There's reincarnation. That's the
Yeah.
spell.
I always loved that one because it really punishes. Like it means it makes death matter. Like it really makes
The
death
spell
matter.
in 5e isn't as bad actually. In 5e, they made it where like, yes, it's still you don't have choice of what you're reincarnated as, but they limited the list to like actual people instead of you reincarnated as a raccoon and now you're just a raccoon. You can't do anything about it.
Well, they used to
So
have
like it has,
bugbears and minotaurs and
yeah, it still has like goblin and hot like all of that. Like it has like the
so player
actual
cases,
races of the
player
book.
races.
Yeah,
Oh, I think
because
that's doable.
it would be bad if you because I think it's more of like they didn't want it to be where you'd have to figure out how to incorporate a non-player race into the game with them being a
Yeah.
monster of some sort.
I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think there's possibilities at least in this campaign for resurrection and reincarnates. That's for sure because you are working for people who have those powers and
Yeah.
have reached that level of money at least. If they don't have the powers themselves. Or if you're unfortunate in this campaign, you may be brought back as a skeleton or a zombie by the horrible little necromancer girl, who was once a character of mine.
Oh God.
Actually,
That's
character concept
I-
didn't get into the game. But
I've
most
yet
of
to
those
play
other
a
characters,
necromancer.
yeah, most of those other characters were characters that I've been not mine, but mostly other people, other friends throughout games that I've been in. I don't know what we're going to do for the goblin show though, because the goblins they're a bit weirder.
I gotta go for a moment.
No problem. Yep.
Goblins breed like crazy. It's fine.
Yeah, but they're all a bit weirder. So I'm thinking we're going to have to do some sort of ritual or some sort of transference.
Smack them on the head with something. It'll work.
No, I'm thinking transference or sacrifice, as in transference of life force from one to another. Because they're
That
not
could
good.
work.
They're absolutely not good. They instantly they're talking
They
about
can-
sacrificing and kidnapping people, like right before, like minutes before starting that show in the pre-show, Nick was saying, I've got like the reason why I'm going to be saving this town is so I can sacrifice it to my god later. I'm like, oh crap! And then we went live. Like that was when everyone's muted, and we're already live, and we're just making sure everything's up. We're putting out the Twitter to say we're live, making sure the signal strength is right, and that's when I'm like, oh, what have I done? What are these people doing?
I feel that. You could they could just kidnap another child and transfer that child's life into one of them.
Well, I'm thinking that. Well, I've had systems like that previously. So yeah, I've actually had a campaign where that was the only way of resurrecting and bringing people back was actually kidnapping someone of that level or above, and transferring life essence from one to the other.
JD also made another good point of a lot of spells in this like 5e. A lot of them will actually have a chance to fail if said person doesn't want to be brought back.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the soul actually has the choice if your spell works.
Absolutely. I mean, I've like that goes all the way back to 2nd edition. I don't know about 1st edition, but that goes all the way back to 2nd edition, where the characters, like the player can still say, "Oh no, the character doesn't come back."
Yeah.
And they just pick up a new character. I mean,
Which sometimes I think that could work.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's like really good to bring back a really good member of the group, especially if you're already such a tight knit group.
Yeah. Although I always liked the second edition version where you lose con every time you brought back. So we had a character before even 5th level with I think only 7 con left because he'd been brought back so many times. But we were working for someone high up, and so he.
I'd be like, I would just at that point be like, "Let me die,
no,
just let me die."
It just made the character more and more petty and evil. Each time he comes back, he was more and more petty and evil. And then he lost. Then he ended up lost something. A deck of cards, as always in our groups, had him essentially work for. No, he was transported to the demon pits, and then because the character he ended up working for the demon.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, not fun. Welcome back, Melly.
Hi. I can't stay long. They're suddenly here to fix the air cons.
Oh, just when you're leaving, you get aircon fixed.
Whatever.
And how long have you been there with? And you're only now getting aircon.
Okay, so
no
I
problem.
will see you guys next week, but I will send you instructions if not. But yeah.
No problem. Bye bye.
Great to meet you here.
Yeah.
It's like seeing you again. Hopefully I get to see you next week. If not, good luck. I hope everything works out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye, Kathy.
We will
Bye.
miss you. Bye. So we'll do a wrap up because the overlay's now a bit more messed up than it was anyway. So we'll do a wrap up. So thanks everyone for coming in.
I'm a
JD,
barbarian sorcerer.
J-42. I know you've applied. We're still working on it. Yeah. So you just asked because I've seen villains be brought back from the dead by PCs against their will about resurrections. I wouldn't allow that. I generally wouldn't allow PCs bringing back the dead against their will. It's always the entities or the soul's willingness to come back. Does that person want to come back or not? And at least having an understanding of, I'm being brought back to be being imprisoned or being interrogated or whatnot. As a GM, I wouldn't allow it. As a player, I once made a evil cleric who worshipped his god by researching criminals. When he goes to a new area, he'd research the history of criminals in the area, find their graves, and bring them back to life. That's how he worshipped his evil deity, by essentially resurrecting criminals and sociopaths and murderers, and because hey, why not? He didn't do the murder himself. He just bring them back because they didn't have enough time.
I think there's a spell that brings ghosts back, just the ghost to talk to them and ask them questions, and they're I think they have to answer, but they don't have to answer truthfully all the time.
Oh, there's Speak with Dead. Yes.
Yeah, I'm I love doing that. It's just against people. It's yeah, okay, now you have to come back to talk to me, even if it's not your real body. It's just you coming back to talk to me.
There's actually because I'm new to the whole box style things, because we're only writing official stuff because it's so much easier than the amount of time it takes to put into Roll20 to get this quality, or get the quality that I'm proud of, is a lot, and to do it your own stuff and homebrew, it's just we're talking 300 hours, and I don't have that. I say 300 to 1,000 plus hours. 300 hours for a single one shot, thousands of hours for long running campaigns, and I don't have that time to homebrew stuff. Although I've done lots of homebrews, but I'm noticing there's a lot of, and if the characters, and if the PCs cast Speak with Dead, these are the questions that he can answer. So there's actually in the texts of these things of the campaigns of what happens if you do ask with Speak with Dead, which I think is pretty good. But usually when it's characters are so low level that they're not going to have it anyway, and they have to rely on their factions, which I dislike anyway. I'm not a fan of factions, never have been, and really dislike it in 5th edition. That's just me, but yeah. I do like the factions in Children of the Marsh though, because they're not really there. They're local, they're not that type of thing. So what are factions? What I mean is the Harpers, the Lord's Alliance, the Zentarum. What are the other ones? There's a few others that like they're ingrained into the 5th edition mindset of Faerun. And I really dislike it because it forces the party to be a part of these massive organizations, which, I mean, they're all supposed to be secret organizations, but everyone's a part of these secret organizations, then they're not really secret. Yeah. So I really dislike it. The ones, like the factions in Children of the Marsh are not secret organizations, it's just the mood and what people believe. Instead, they're not organized, they're just beliefs. And so what the players don't know, what Nier doesn't know, is that I've actually got another screen. So we normally have these screens here for the players stuff, and I'll zoom out. Like we have this screen this is the players loading screen. I've got a GM's version of this for the Children of the Marsh, which has the factions, which has where the players even sit on the sliders of the factions, like where the cast, or sorry, where the characters are on the like where they slide, and just really to have the mood of the village, because that is really a big part of what's going on in the background, but they're not really obviously in play. I
remember like on the faction topic, like I played Lost Mines of Phandelver at one point, and we had nothing to do with the factions, so all our characters were like created before we even knew that these factions existed. And we went into another to continue on where the DM asked us to join a faction, and I was like, my character doesn't care about these. Literally none of them align to my character, so it's like, how do I align with a group that I don't even like?
Yep.
It's like you can't join a faction and set it as like your goal if you already had a character who doesn't fit into any of them.
Yep. Beach, have you been muted all this time, or are you not here?
I'm here.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to the conversation. Medicine has been taken. I'm zoning out just a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
One thing I do ask you before we leave, can the mysterious note be taken down? Because I do not like looking at my old art.
It's gone. Oh, you mean from the Discord or from the...
I already took it off Discord. It's still in Roll20.
I knew you were going to do it. That's why.
I don't like looking at my old art.
It was good.
To be proud of it.
It.
It's actually really good.
Thank you. And I don't know. Once it gets like past a certain month mark, I'm just like, who drew this?
No.
I can feel that because like I've looked back at some of my old art and been like, why did I draw that? I don't like this. Or then like I see the progress now and it's like, okay, it's nice.
I keep all of my old art. I never look at it.
Same.
I see the old overlays and I cringe. I see the old first 10 episodes of this series, the old overlays. I thought, like, when I build them, like, oh, that looks awesome. That's really good. It's really, that's really, like, smart and ingenious and all that. I'm like, oh, my God, I just cringe now. I really do. And even still, like, the new overlays, we use the wooden ones, which we've been using as a generic for the channel for the last year. And it's been actually about a year because this is about when we brought them in. Even these are feeling a bit... Yeah, when the Children of the Marsh one was made, I was like, wow, that's amazing. The Goblin Lords one came out, I was like, yes. And in the next month, we're going to have a new one for this one as well. So I mean, I'm getting tired of this generic one. I want to bring the channel forward that next step, and unfortunately, this show was the third in line to get the overlays done. But we're going to get a new overlay set. We're going to have everybody go on screen all the time. No swapping between the six of us screen and then the map screen with us really, really tiny, which I've always disliked. So we're going to be bigger. We're going to be on screen. Yeah.
I'll say I can understand that. With like looking at old designs and stuff, I used to write back when I was in high school, and I wrote back in. I think I started like my Wattpad originally back in 2010 or 11, and that was when I was like 15 or 16. I'm 22 now. That was too long ago, and the writing back then was just like, oh, this is so cringy. Why did I do this? Why did I do this to myself?
Was it fan
And now I'm like,
fiction?
no, I actually wrote a lot of my own like stories with friends. It was just like, oh, this is such a bad plot. Oh, this is such a bad moment. Or like, it's the most cliche thing you could think of. And I was like, why did I write this? I hate myself. But then I like write now and I'm like, okay, I like that I've actually progressed to like knowing that this is a bad thing. Like, don't write like this. Don't do this. It's really not that great. And I know like the tropes that to like avoid.
Wasn't there a teenager that wrote, there was a dragon, it was like a story about a dragon that got made into a film, and everyone was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then someone pointed out, no, that's the story of Star Wars. It's the exact story of Star Wars, but set in a dragon fantasy setting. And
I think so.
I think I've heard that.
I remember there was a different fan fiction that was made into a movie. I think I remember reading the article about it. It was like a One Directioners fan fiction that was made into a movie. I know that 50 Shades is a Twilight fan fiction that was made into a movie.
Yep.
A book, then movie.
Literally, 50 Shades of Grey was written because she liked Twilight and wanted to make a book about it.
okay.
But like her own like story, and it was just like, so things like that are so bad, and I don't know why people like them.
50 Shades was actually a fan fiction posted. I don't remember on which site, but it was posted. It was called Something of Winter.
Wow, I did not know that. That's shocking. And I've seen the movies. I had a girlfriend who took me to the movies, or at least made me watch the movies, and I'm sorry,
Never
I'm an
watched
adult,
the
and I'm an adult, and I'm sorry, I've done a lot of things, and that's tame. That's
like for me, and I read a lot of books back all the way through high school, all the way to now. Like I just constantly read, and I've tried to read Twilight once, couldn't. Finally managed to like force myself to read it, and then when I was reading, I tried to read 50 Shades of Grey, and I just like stopped. I was like, oh, this is so bad. It's literally just Twilight but worse. It's like somebody was like, let me find Twilight and write a fan fiction on it that's worse. And I was just like, how do people like this? I don't know. It's so bad and cringy to me.
I worked at the movies when those came out.
Ooh.
It was wild. I hated it.
There's a really nice a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, to de-stress between all the bits and pieces prepping for Children of the Marsh, I got into watching YouTube clips of Saturday Night Live. From Australia, we don't generally get Saturday Night Live. So watching these comedians that I've seen over the years all together at once was really good, even if the stuff is dated. And there was one which was a Twilight one, which was an Edward fan, and the other one. And they were just like super fangirling over the two and fighting each other because of it. And check it out. It's on SNL on their YouTube. And it's just so stupidly funny, and it's perfect.
I think I remember there was a movie that was like when all the big parody movies are popular. Vampire Suck was the one that they made a parody of Twilight, and it was so amazing. Like the actual actress who played Bella in that one actually hated the character Bella and was so happy to play her because she was like, I hate this character so much and I want to make it awful. Actually, the funniest part to me is
like the Twilight movie.
What was that?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, Peach.
I was saying I like the Twilight movies for nostalgia reasons only.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but one thing you have to admit, it was good casting, but like
Yeah.
the movie itself was like, even the actors who played in the movie hated the movie.
Like that actually, nobody hates Twilight more than its cast. Literally,
Wow.
I think Kristen Stewart in an interview said that when she got cast for the role, she was told to go home and read the book, and then said she immediately burned the book because she hated it that much.
Wow.
She literally threw it in the fire and was like, nope, never reading it again. I hate it.
And yet you have to then play it. For how many movies? Was
And
that? Quite a few.
5?
Yeah.
I mean, a paycheck is a paycheck. I
Yeah.
hated working at McDonald's, but I still made that paycheck.
That's why I was like, a lot of people actually turned down the roles to play in Twilight, but the thing is, most of the people who played those, even if they hated them, they did them because they were gonna sell. They
Yeah.
knew they're gonna sell, so they're gonna make a lot.
So I spent 10 years in circus, teaching circus and performing and doing other stuff. I drew the lawn at clown work. I never did any clown work, even though one of the 2 companies that I worked for was almost entirely made up of clown work. So
Oh, wow.
I would go teach in schools, teach circus in schools, and I was working with clowns. Pretty much every person I was working with in the company was a clown, and about 90% of the business they'll be doing clown work on the weekends, and that was totally not my persona, not my personality, and so I'm very anti that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I would not sell out for that. I just was not me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
The other company I worked for was actually anti-clown, which was really fun. So,
Actually, this makes me wonder, Peach,
Yeah.
did you know who they had originally asked to play Bella Swan?
I didn't. Tell me, please.
They'd asked, and they actually, I think they offered her like millions to play the character. But do you remember the Series of Unfortunate Events movie, Violet Baudelaire?
Of course I do.
Yeah, the girl who-
that movie gave me nightmares.
Yeah, the girl who also
They
plays
asked
in. Yes, they asked that actress who also plays in like Sucker Punch and oh god, that other like horror movie, like psychological movie. But they asked that girl to play her because she looks enough like the character in the books that it was like, okay, you could probably play it. She turned it down. She's like, I'm not. That's not me. I don't want to be in that.
she probably read the books beforehand.
I think she read them before, like knew who the character was, and was just like, nope.
Yeah. No, as in you read the book and then got asked and
Oh,
went,
yeah.
no.
I
Yeah.
think she got offered it, read the books, and like
Yeah,
learned
okay,
who the
yeah.
character was, and was just like, no,
Yeah.
that's not me. But then again, she plays all these psychologically traumatic characters, so it's kind of like Bella's not a psychological traumatic character. She's a teenage girl who's in love with a vampire for some reason, and
Yeah.
kind of boring, really boring. Don't get me wrong, I loved the movies because they were like really fun to just watch, and they were stupid funny, but like the character is so bad. She's just so bad. I would rather watch it from like anyone else's perspective than Bella's.
All the characters in it were like super interesting besides Bella and Edward.
Mhm.
Like all the vampires, super interesting.
Alice. Give me
Alice.
Alice.
Jasper, Rosaline, I don't remember her name.
Rosalie.
All super interesting.
I don't know any of this, so I'm just going.
I would have watched it from anyone's perspective but her.
Getting
Yeah, let's
kind
see
of-
a D.
kind of getting. I'm not reading the books. No way, that's not happening. I'm getting kind of back on topic, or ish. Have you ever seen the D&D movies?
I have a shirt from the D&D cartoon.
No.
I've seen the cartoon, but not the movies.
No, not the original cartoon, not the Saturday morning cartoons. From I think they were from the 80s. I mean the original, like the movies. They did 3 of them. They are the worst movies. Well, not the worst, but they are up there. They are really, really
Oh my
poor.
god, there are Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah. So that they were done really. I mean,
Ugh.
if you're going to do
They look so
a fantasy movie with spells and stuff, have a budget. if you're going to have
so bad.
swords, don't make them look like they're cartoon. It doesn't work in a movie setting. But yeah, like I won't tell you to check them out, but if you want to cringe, if you want to have a laugh, if you're able to, if you're allowed to drink, if you're the drinking age, have a lot of drinks with friends and watch them because they're funny. If you're not of legal age, don't do that of course. And don't do drugs and watch the movie because it's going to freak you out for the rest of your life.
I'm literally
just
looking
don't
at
do
them right
drugs.
now, and they look so bad.
They really
Just
do.
so. There's one that's made in 2012, and you would think, okay, 2012 is like a time of like movies being really good. Like they're like movies had more budgets. They look so awful. I'm seeing literally the cast's outfit. I'm just like cringe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cringe at this.
Yeah.
The only way a Dungeons and Dragons a Dungeons and Dragons movie could work if it was all improv, because that's basically Dungeons and Dragons.
So
Yeah.
if
And you had
want-
one annoyed character who was just a guy in like a shirt and pants, like the DM just sort of like, no, you please work with me.
You know what would work for that, honestly, if you were to do a movie like that? They could have a full script and everything. It'd be fine, but like have it be like actual people playing Dungeons and Dragons and then it going into the world of them playing their characters and having the characters and then go back and forth.
which is the next thing I was going to put up, is check out, I highly recommend checking out Zombie Orpheus Entertainment on YouTube, or Zoe. They do live action. It's not LARPing, but they've got like scripted movies and scripted videos. They've got a very, very long running series called Journey Quest, I believe. But they've also got spoof things as well. So they've got 3 movies called the Gamers, so 1, 2, and 3, which is all about role playing and things like that, and just how crazy people take things. They've also got some really amazing spoof style, D&D style. How can I put it? Just turning things on their head. So one of the ones I loved was they have like a wizard and a lord and a cleric and all these people sitting at the table, and the wizard's trying to teach them not Dungeons and Dragons, but I think it's like Homes and something else, or it's really like essentially Dungeons and Dragons, but taking the people from Dungeons and Dragons into Dungeons and Dragons, but in a modern setting. So they've turned it absolutely on their head, and they're very, very funny comedians. They're very, very funny ad-lib actors, and they're really, really good. So with the cringeworthiness of the Dungeons and Dragons official movies, these guys do amazing, amazing stuff.
That's cool.
So check out Zombie Orpheus Entertainment. They also used to run. They also took over the running of Hyper RPG's Death from Above show from season 3 onwards, I think. They did a short season 2, like an excerpt, an 8-run episode, and then they did like the full season 3. So yeah,
Cool.
They're really, really funny actors and everything, and they have this type of D&D role playing and LARPing, but they do it really, really well. But
That's good.
I think we've been going on for almost 3 hours. I think we may just call it. Thank you, Peach. Thank you, Nia, for sticking around. And again, Kamali, we will miss you. Hopefully we'll see you next week. I'm one of those privy to know how Robold is going to go out, or what is going to happen, just in case things happened and she couldn't make it. I don't have to go through the whole backup plan for Kadan. Will be here, and he'll be able to take over what's happening in Kadan, which is great. And if Sky is not going to be here next week, I think we're going to introduce Emmy. So Emmy should be able to, like, we were planning on having Emmy come in next week. If Sky's not going to be here, Emmy can be here and take on Sky's role. Well, not Sky's character, but yeah, I think that may be how it's going to end up. So Emmy's coming in. She's from the... I've got to try to find out where... Like, Gathering of Nerds. So Gathering of Nerds is the communal role-playing group on Twitch, which she does stuff. She also does Emmy Rabbit on Twitch as well for her own channel. Gathering of Nerds do a heck of a lot of one-shots. I was watching them last night while prepping for today, and one of the girls, Moxie, has a folder that thick of just one-shots. That's her characters of all the one-shots she's played on the channel. And it's just like she's had to add more and more sleeves to her folder because it's just so thick of stuff. So that's kind of what's going to happen. We'll have I won't go too much into the character, but I will say it's a goblin. And I was doing overlays last night. I'll just slightly change them because of Sky not being here, and just move a little bit around. But the character art looks so amazing already. I was expecting one thing, and especially having Mervo for the last character art that came through, I was expecting one direction, but no, One Direction is a horrible band. We went totally different direction.
We went the Beatles.
Holy crap. Super cute and super emotive and just really, really, really good. So today it should be coloured, and I should be getting an email later with the full finished. I'm like, I want to see. And of course everyone's going to get Twitter alerts and everything and spam of everything because it's going to happen. So yeah, that's the thing. We're going to be doing a little bit of Let's Play tomorrow. And next week we're going to have a lot of Let's Plays because it's school holidays. I'm free. I can do stuff. I don't have to finish shows like right on time because of my little goblin. So yay! So I think that's everything and everyone. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for all the support. J-Dash, thank you for applying and everything for the shows and being here and talking. I'm not making a decision on Kadan's temporary replacement until a lot closer. There's a lot of applications and I really want to go through one because having players comfortable with each other is the main thing here. It really is, like, the group dynamic is a big thing, and this is the first time I haven't asked everyone here when pulling in another person, and that means the decision is all on me, and I'm in a lot of shit if it goes wrong. At least if I ask everybody, because I asked everyone for Nier. So if I ask everybody, at least I can just push it on them and say, no, you made the call.
Yeah. At least people like me, so I mean that's okay. I'm glad you guys liked me enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Liked. Yeah.
No, every new cast member they've been really nice and a good add along to the cast.
Yeah.
I feel like this show is cursed with its revolving door of castmates, though.
Hopefully not.
Hey, Yep.
We're basically Macbeth at this point. If you say the Rusty Daggers in a different campaign, you're gonna have somebody leave.
Apparently. I'm like, I'll try not to sponsor this show while I'm in Children of the Marsh.
And J-Dash, thank you for the follow as well. I know you've done an application, you're in the Discord, and you've done this. Welcome to the Goblin Cave, but I still can't make the decision on the placement. But I will say that yours is not the application I'm going to be putting into the failed applications in Discord. There's some interesting ones I get. There's always really interesting ones. Although no under 18s this time. No! Yeah, we're going to have Let's Plays, a lot more Let's Plays next week. I do have Sinking City, which is great. I haven't even loaded it. I've been looking forward to it for a while. But we've got Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is a great game. We're playing it as Goblin characters, actually as the Goblin characters in the Rise of the Goblin Lords. So I'm kind of learning what feats these players are going to be probably taking later on. Things like not having your explosive or your explosives from the Alchemist hurt friendly members, like friendly party members. I found that feat, like, that really works. Because we've already got friendly fire in only one session. It's actually not less from the Alchemist, and it's more from the blind monkey goblin who charges into battle, who totally blind, actually has to roll which direction he runs in with 2 flailing whips which have a 10-foot radius that he's got to randomly attack people in, and that's how he charges into battle. So if we get enough subs, we're totally going to get our friendly fire emote back. But we're going to end this here. Thank you everyone for sticking around. Thank you for support. It's great to see. I'm going to butcher your name, but Porphyrogenitus. Porphyrogenitus. Thank you for coming in live. I know you've been a huge supporter on YouTube for such a long time. It's great to see you live. That's totally why I gave you that sub yesterday, gifted that to you, because you've been here for such a long time. So yeah, we'll call it a day. Thanks for sticking around. It's nice to be able to relax and talk to the cast, because we don't generally get to do this. We have like half an hour pre-show, and then the breaks. And if you haven't been a cast member, we do a lot of talk in those breaks, which is kind of why some of them stretch.
Yeah. We get distracted. It's okay.
Peach, you totally have been around for many of those.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last bit.
Those just talking during the breaks, and like half an hour passes, like, oh yeah, we should get back into the game.
I enjoy conversating with my castmates, and I cannot be blamed for that.
I wasn't blaming. I totally wasn't blaming. I'm just saying we've had a lot of that over the last year, which is nice, but we don't get to actually just do a recap and just chat. It's been really nice to do that. So yeah, I think that's it. We should have Emmy next week. I was about to say the character name. We're going to have Emmy next week. Sky's not going to be here for the Rusty Daggers, so we'll have Emmy introduce herself and character. The character, we've actually worked a way for the character to be right there, just in case. Possibly could have even been in this episode if we actually ran it like without her. It should be really fun. Hopefully Kamali's able to be here. She's been amazing. She really has. It's just like to lose the core, like the original players and the original cast members, is hard. And Kamali's certainly been one of those originals that have been here and been a big driving force and a big personality. We'll head off. Thank you for everyone, and let's see, is there anyone we can raid? I'll just check that quickly because I always forget. I'm trying to get into raiding people. Let's see if they're in live or if they're on a break or something. I think Midgardia's running right now, so we'll raid Midgardia. So the only reason why I found Emmy is because we raided the channel. That's kind of how that worked. Oops, that's in the wrong place. That's in the totally wrong place. That's why it wasn't coming up. There, Midgardia. So we're going to raid Midgardia. They're in doing a role-playing session at the moment. It looks like they're doing Tales of the Yawning Portal, which is always awesome. Haven't played that for a while. So thanks everyone for sticking around. We're going to be raiding. So spam and say hello and share the love. And everyone, bye.
Bye.
Oops, we got a 10-second delay. Really? Got a 10-second delay when we press that button. Okay, let's try this again. Bye everyone.
See ya.